Welcome to the Two Generic Podcast. Back with your hosts Cam
Rich?
and this week we have some breaking news to start the show. Absolutely breaking news. You heard it first because it was just announced 2 minutes ago. We delayed the intro and renamed the title of the show. So it's the Indiana Fever fire head coach Christy Sides, and that's just what it is. How many coaches have been fired, Richie? How
Uh,
many W coaches?
we got to think. So we got the Mystics, we got the Fever, we got the Sparks, we got the Sky, we got the Wings. So that's five right there. That's almost half the league.
That's half the league. There's 12 teams.
Yeah, I think if I remember, let me make sure I got all these right.
12 teams. And five teams fired their head coach this year. The WNBA is definitely in flux. It's kind of crazy to think about. Half the league is now searching for their next head coach.
Oh, it is half the league because the Dream, I forgot.
The dream.
Tanisha Wright. So that's six teams.
Yep,
It'll,
half
it'll be
the league.
Yeah, it'll be 13 next year, but
True, very true. It's going to be awkward with an odd number of teams. There's not
I,
many sports leagues with that, but Toronto gets their team the following year. So then it'll all even out.
I don't know if there's any leagues like that.
There isn't. There isn't many leagues where it's odd number. So I don't know why they're doing it this year. I honestly think Golden State should wait until next year. That's just me. I guess they want to add a little bit more parity to the league as soon as possible. So,
But isn't the Portland team coming in 2026 too?
is it the Portland team?
Well, no,
I know the Canadian team's coming in 2 years.
Yeah, I knew that team, but I didn't know. I thought Portland was coming in 2026 too.
Maybe. So then I hope we get the Boston team.
So that would be an odd number again.
It would be an odd number again once the Raptors and Portland join. So yeah, hopefully there is another team joining, and most likely on the East Coast.
Right.
So I'm praying for Boston there. And if Connecticut could have their team, that would be pretty cool too.
All right.
If the Sun could remain in Connecticut, because that's a big fan base. They've been there for a very long time. The WNBA has been around for what, almost 30 years? 28,
Yeah.
27 seasons, something like that. And the
19,
Connecticut Sun have been there for about 20 something years. I believe we were down in Orlando for 2 years. We were an expansion team, and then they moved out of Orlando and became the Connecticut Sun very fast.
Right.
So they're almost an original team into the WNBA, and I would like to see it like that. I would like it to see it remain with the fan base, though I'm not going to lie, I wish the Connecticut Sun would become the Boston team, and then you have all of New England included, and you also get a bigger stage, more fans, more revenue. Everything the league needs is actually moving the team to Boston. So to get to our point, it would still be an odd number of teams. So that's the part that we wonder is the Boston team going to be separate from the Sun, or are they just going to move there, or are they going to play half their games in Connecticut and half their games in Boston? Because it seemed like they really liked what happened in Boston this year.
Well, they had a great.
It sold out, and it wasn't like a fake sellout where they block out the top where people can't sit in the nosebleeds, and then they still call it a sellout for what seats were available and sold. This is no. The whole arena actually sold out. Every seat in the arena sold. So that, brings me to my next question is is that going to happen? Is the Sun going to move there, or do they just realize, hey, maybe we should just make a new team in Boston? And then it evens it out because we do need an even league. It's going to be so weird with an uneven roster, or conference. Yeah. Like 7 teams on one side, 6 teams on the other. It's kind of weird to me.
But going back to your point, so they were the Orlando Miracle from 1999 to 2002, and then from 2003 to present day, they're the Connecticut Sun.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know there was an Orlando Miracle.
I'm pretty on point. I mean, I said 2 years, it was 4, but
point.
I'm pretty on point, bro. I'm not messing around when it comes to the Connecticut Sun. I know my Connecticut Sun.
Yep.
The Orlando Miracle was kind of a cool logo too, but we like the Sun. And shout out to Blaze, our mascot.
It kind of looks like the Wizards. The Wizards old.
Yeah, it does.
Like when Gilbert Arenas was playing with them.
Mm-hmm. It was a cool look, but I like the Connecticut Sun. And plus, there's no team that really rocks the orange that proudly. Like it never looks good. For some reason, I like the Suns' whole theme.
Yeah. And then they had the purple. I like the purple jerseys they had this year.
Yeah, I love the blue, even though it was so like out of the ordinary because normally we're not like blue like that. It was like a royal blue.
Right. I thought it looked good though.
Yeah, yeah, it looked good. The purple was cooler, I think. The purple goes more with like kind of when you think of rainbows and ultraviolet rays. If you're a sun, that
Right.
purple ultraviolet rays. I don't know. I like it.
There's almost too much jerseys now, like in the NBA at least,
Hmm.
because like the Bucks have some of their jerseys, and they look like Mavericks jerseys.
Oh, bro, the blue ones are so bad.
And
Remember when they played the Mavericks
yeah, and you
doing the blue jerseys and me? I remember I had Christina watching it with me, and she's like, "What the fuck is this? Why are the Bucks look like the Mavericks?" Like she was upset. She's like, "This doesn't make any sense."
yeah,
Somebody who doesn't even care about it, but kind of knows relatively enough. And she looks at it and goes, "This is confusing. This looks stupid. The
no,
Bucks are
it
supposed to
was.
be blue."
It is. It doesn't make any sense. They've
Yeah.
never been blue and green.
Hmm. See, for a little bit, I actually liked the yellow jerseys. At first, I was a little turned off by them, but eventually, I seen the blue ones, and I'm like, I didn't think it could get worse than the yellow, but it got worse than the yellow. So now I like the yellow just
Yeah,
because.
it makes the yellow ones look good.
Right, it
That's
does. It makes the yellow ones look good. But back to the Fever real quick. Talking about alternate jerseys, I love the Stranger Things jerseys that Indiana did.
those ones are tough.
The Indiana Fever, and it's like melting and black and red, and
Yeah,
that was
the,
the coolest collab ever.
but the all red ones are just so boring. Like who
Yeah.
came up with that idea? They just put fever all across, just straight red, no designs, no nothing.
Yeah, they were cooking up with the Stranger Things ones, and they're
They
like,
were,
"We can't miss right now. There's
yeah,
no way we can miss. We got Caitlin Clark. We've been on a heater with jerseys." But yeah, that's when it ended with the all
right.
red jerseys. But it really is unfortunate. But I will say, I thought Christy Sides should have been fired a minute ago. There was times when Caitlin Clark gets hammered, and then they pan the Christy Sides, and she's laughing on the sidelines. How many times did I say that this year?
Yeah, and I thought if anything, she would have gotten fired last season.
Very true.
I thought she
You
would have got
know,
last season
I
after the
think they wanted to build some consistency with Aaliyah Boston and to start really like becoming a real franchise. Like you want to have a head coach of the future. You want to have these things in place and stability. Caitlin Clark's coming in. You don't want to bring in a new head coach and things are haywire and nobody knows what's going on. So I think
right.
it was smart to bring back the coach from the previous year. You instill a little bit of confidence just naturally in everybody else because they know what's coming. Now it's Caitlin Clark, and they could fill her in. Hey, this is what this coach does. This is what we did last year. Some things might change this year, but at least there's some, familiarity with the team, and I like that part. But yeah, throughout the season, I was watching Christy Sides. I just don't think she was the coach for Caitlin Clark.
And some players seem like they're annoyed by her too when they come to the bench.
Hmm.
She's also I like her energy though. She's always losing her mind on the sideline. She's really
She
into
has she has good energy at times, but there were times that she whiffed, and that's when I started to think, is this energy fake?
it.
Is this like she's putting it on at certain times and yada yada? Because you could only judge somebody by how they actually naturally react to things at the moment.
Right.
Obviously there's time and you could think about things and go back and yada yada yada. But some of this stuff you should naturally just be furious about. And some of the cheap shots that Caitlin Clark got, and she's coming back to the sideline, she's holding her arm or something, she gets subbed out, and the coach is just like smiling, like, "Yeah, good job, Kate, good job. Toughen up. It's okay. You'll be all right."
That's your star player.
Right. That is not what you do in like adult sports business. You do that maybe in like little league. You don't do that when it comes down to this, especially in an entertainment sport. So you got to go out to bat for your players off the rip. You got to show it to the audience, the fans, the refs. Everybody's got to know that if you touch Caitlin Clark, you got to go through Christy Sides,
And that's what
no
makes
matter what. Like obviously she can't go out on the court and be an enforcer and everything else. They need to find enforcers on their team or sign one or something. But actual coach right there that is not going to put up with shit and it's going to make everyone's lives more difficult. Like, so let's say somebody cheap shots Caitlin Clark. The ref immediately knows I have to blow this whistle or Christy Sides is going to be on my ass for the next 10 minutes.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the part that's missing is the fact that nobody thinks you're going to be a thorn in their ass. And that's what you need to be as a head coach. Straight up. You need that fear in the refs, in the players. The players should know. Boom. If I do this cheap shot right now, Christy Sides, the whole energy is going to flip because Christy Sides is going to go crazy, and then everyone on her team is going to turn it up a notch. Like I better not cheap shot Caitlin Clark because I know what happens. People turn up.
And
The
also,
energy's going to flip. So I better play my ball and not worry about messing with her and getting in her way. I just need to do my best, not, try to bully Caitlin Clark or take cheap shots or whatever.
if she picks up a technical or two and she loses her mind on the sidelines, I think the players respect her more.
That's what I'm saying is there's
Yeah.
there's no buy-in from anybody because we've seen what happens multiple times. She got cheap shotted and she's trying to de-escalate Caitlyn. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, you need to go out there and go crazy, catch the fine for your players, so your players don't have to catch the fine. Because when Caitlin Clark, let's say she goes crazy, gets a technical, she has to pay that fine. As the leader, like you step up and do it, and then leave it up to the organization to pay that fine for the coach or whatever. But when you're really riding for your team, that's what you got to do. And I think she let the players try to pick up technicals instead of her.
Right.
That's not what you do, especially as a head coach in an entertainment league. You're getting paid a lot of money. You could throw a couple technicals out there.
Right.
You know,
Caitlin Clark.
use them wisely. You don't want to get suspended. You don't want to get kicked out of the league. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually you rack up a certain amount, but you need to set the tone. And there's also the point that you don't have to get a technical every time you turn up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not necessary. You don't have to do that, but you could set the tone and still have your voice heard, but not get a technical. So I just felt like Christy Sides was not going to bat for her players the proper way. And this is what happens. And I think this is what should have happened. They need to find a better coach. If anything, the funniest thing that would ever come from this is if they hire Teaspoon from Chicago.
Right. That'd be crazy.
Imagine if they bring Teaspoon in, was Angel Reese's rookie head coach, and they bring her in the coach Caitlin Clark the next year. And Teaspoon was a guard.
Mm-hmm.
So she'd have more things for Caitlin Clark than for Angel Reese to get better. Maybe as a person and personality and the way they gel, they might be the better combination of the two. But the compatibility between Teresa Witherspoon on the court and Caitlin Clark is actually really good. So
Right.
I think she would be able to hopefully instill some things, teach her a couple nuances about the game, and potentially know what plays Caitlin would want to run. That's the way I think. So who knows who could be the head coach though? I think what's his name just got fired from the Sparks, right?
Kurt Miller.
Kirk Miller, our boy from the Sun. Why not bring in Kurt Miller?
I know.
Kurt
I
Miller is about his shit. I like Kurt Miller.
I didn't think he should have gotten fired from the Sparks either.
Hell no. They got a team full of rookies. They just brought him in there, and then the rookies get hurt. What do you want from him?
And then you had, Lexi Brown out a bunch this season. Azari Stevens missed the start of the season. I mean,
Hamby missed a little bit, and
yeah,
then coming back off the Olympics, her confidence was shot.
yeah, I didn't understand that at all. I mean,
Yeah.
your first round pick, a top whatever she was, top 3 pick, gets tears her ACL. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, and I thought Rakia Jackson had an amazing rookie year. So like he didn't stop her growth. If anything,
Right.
he leaned harder into her in developing her later into the season. He's seen that as an important thing. Oh man, her mid range is so good. Her little fadeaway.
Yeah, I agree, but I think he's definitely going to get one of those 5 job or one of those 6 job openings. He should at least.
My hope is it's the Fever. I think he's a really great coach. Truly, I think he's a good galvanizer of players. The Sun always seemed like a tight knit group. Last year, the Sparks seemed like a tight knit group. They
Right.
seemed like they were all friends and It was cool over there, and they ran good sets. They just didn't have good players. Like who was their point guards last year? You had Lexi Brown got sent out. Lasia Clarendon completely shit the bed and retired.
Well, she missed a lot of time last year too.
And then you had Erin McDonald come in off of like a waiver.
Mm-hmm.
She was a free agent. They signed her. There were two other guards that they played. I mean, Ray Burrell got like 25 minutes a night last year. Like
Yeah,
Ray Burrell, come on.
she
I
got the
like
strap.
Ray Burrell, but she's a 12th woman on a roster. She's not somebody who should be getting 25, 30
She got
minutes.
the strap.
Her shot looked a lot better last year, and to say some positive things about Ray Burrell, she she's just a good role player. Maybe in a better situation where she doesn't have to like crash the offensive glass as hard or make the extra pass. If she really was just coming off the bench, hitting a three here or there, hustling 10 minutes or less on a winning team, that's good. But anything more, I don't like it. I don't like when she starts dribbling.
And you had Dangerfield too. You had Crystal
Oh yeah,
Dangerfield.
yeah, yeah. And you had Krista Dangerfield as well. There was one other guard I'm
Was
thinking of.
was it was it? I could be wrong on this. Let me see if I'm wrong. It was Odyssey Sims.
Sims, right at the end. That's
I,
what I was thinking. I'm like, who came in at the end that was the
yeah,
fantasy value? It was Sims.
I thought it was her. I didn't want to sound stupid, but
Yeah, because she came in and messed up McDonald. Because McDonald was on a little roll for fantasy. I had her in the fantasy league and also in NBA Fast Break,
why
WNBA Fast Break, I should say.
why don't teams keep Sims?
I don't
I
know. There must be
oh,
something to Odyssey Sims why people don't want to keep her. I can't really understand what the reasoning would be because I really like Odyssey Sims. She seems to produce on the court. I don't know if she's just like older and is like, I
maybe
know this shit. Like, give me the rock. I got you.
maybe she's not
You
a
don't
good.
gotta tell me your little system. I don't care about your little system. That might be her. She
Maybe she,
might be like Harden or something. Like
but
I
maybe
am the system when I'm out there, so just let me cook.
she's not good in the locker room or something. I don't know, but it's strange to me.
Yeah, she's either not coachable, but it doesn't seem like she's bad in the locker room because the players vouch for her.
Yeah,
Everyone tweets she should be on a roster. She should be on a roster. So I'm guessing she's a little less coachable in her older age, especially since she's having so much inconsistency and bouncing from team to team. She's like, no, I got to get mine because if I run your stupid system, I'm gonna score 6 points and get 3 assists.
because there's players with much worse numbers than she has, and
Right.
have been able to stay on rosters. But
I'm
it's
saying,
easy to me. I
like,
mean,
if Tiffany Mitchell can still get paid, come on.
like
Odyssey Sims can't get paid if Tiffany Mitchell's getting paid.
and
Anybody who knows their stuff in W, like, bro, Odyssey Sims is above and beyond what Tiffany Mitchell does.
and nine. What'd she have? 9 games with Dallas last year. She averaged 17.2 points on 53.5% shooting from the field, and she made half her threes.
Those are Kennedy Carter numbers with a jumper.
I mean, and 5.6 assists, 1.7 steals, almost 3 rebounds a game.
And she's old.
Yeah, I mean, 32.
32, but I'm saying she's an old vet in the W.
Yeah,
And
she's been.
she's doing this. No one wants to give her a contract. That's what I'm saying. They're labeling her as old and washed up, but she's averaging what, 17, 5, and 4?
17, 3 and almost 6 assists a game.
Almost 6, yeah.
And last year she played for Dallas and Los Angeles. And for the season, she averaged 12.6 points, 5.3 assists, 48% from the field.
Yeah. Well,
So
I like Odyssey Sims. There's certain players like Monique Billings last year was a fucking killer
she was
coming
killing.
off coming off waivers. Like the fact that there are teams that don't sign these women and they just end up on free agent waivers and getting signed on these little deals. Like, come on, pay Monique Billings. We know Billings is a baller.
And she played really well with Sabali and Howard out at the start of the season.
She did. She got a couple double doubles. She's blocking shots, facilitating. Everything Monique Billings does is solid. I hope she's on the Valkyries next year, the new team coming to the W.
Right.
Billings should be on that squad. Sims should be on that squad. Um, you know who's solid? Who's the point guard? They should trade for like Lexi Cook or something, or not Lexi Cook, Zaya Cook. Why did I say Lexi? I'm
Zia Cook.
combining all the Lakers. I mean the Sparks cards. The Lakers. I'm cooked right now. Cooked.
They're both in LA. They both
They're
play
both in LA.
close enough.
But yeah, I would try to get like Zaya Cook, like a young guard that you could bring over there to the Valkyries. She won't be protected in the what do they call it? The expansion draft.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Zaya
Uh,
Cook won't be drafted or
'Cause
protected.
I think it's the top 6 players teams can keep.
Yeah, but I don't even
What it
think the
was.
Valkyries are gonna pick her though. That's the problem.
Right.
I think she's a bucket, and you give her space on a bum squad to just cook. I think she could do it.
And I forget what pick the Valkyries have. I think it's like 5 or 6. I think.
Five for 2 years in a row. I think
Right. Yeah. So
guaranteed top 5 pick, but I think it's number 5.
yeah. So Paige isn't going there.
No, Paige isn't going there. I wonder what they're gonna build, but who could they get? Charlie Collier? Are they gonna pull her out of retirement?
Oh, and that'd be nasty.
She was a first round pick 4 years ago, and she's retired. Like that is the true Anthony Bennett of the WNBA.
I don't know what happened to her.
She's probably in Istanbul getting a rebound right now.
Yeah, she hasn't played since 2022.
Yeah, it's really a shame what happened to her career.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
What other teams? You said the Dream.
For coaches getting
Coach is
fired.
getting fired. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we got
Tanisha Wright for the Dream.
Tanisha Wright, which I thought should have happened. I thought she
He was a horrible coach.
was a horrible coach, bro. She really bungled a lot of things. There
Yeah.
were a lot of late game plays that she messed up, bad timeouts. I don't know. Something about her was just like her out of bounds plays. Everything was off with her last year. And the Dream felt like that. If they felt like they had nothing, and it was just Tina Charles literally killing herself every night.
Right.
Ryan Howard barely played hard. Like, I mean, she had good nights, but if you ever watch Ryan Howard, you'll understand when she's trying hard and when she's not. Like, it's pretty obvious with her body language if she's in it that night or not,
Right.
because she's that type of athlete. When you see Ryan Howard flying around, and then you watch games where you're like, I haven't seen her move fast yet. Like, she's like one of the most athletic players out there, and she's not moving. So you just notice those type of things. Like Ryan Howard, to me, she's like Kalea Copper with a 3-point shot.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
she could be better than Copper easily. She could have already been a better player than Copper, but Copper plays hard and she slashes to the rim every single time.
She's just
She
so
takes no. She doesn't take no for an answer. That's the one thing about Copper that I love.
she's really inefficient too. Ryan Howard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because she's so hot and cold. It's like you have her bought in some nights, and then other nights Ryan Howard like just kind of shows up, ties her shoes, and just goes out there. But yeah, there's just nights where you see Ryan Howard all over the court, and you ask yourself, like, is this one of the top 5 players in the league? Who is this?
Right.
You know, sometimes you're like, why aren't more people talking about Ryan Howard right now?
Yeah, you just don't know what you're gonna get from her every night offensively.
Yeah, she crashes the glass well when she wants to. She blocks shots. She steals the ball. Like, she does it all. She fills the stat sheet, but not even in like some random way. She actually is the reason why those things happen. You know, like some people just get these steals from a bad pass or whatever, but I feel like she creates turnovers. Ryan Howard is naturally a playmaker because of all the skills she has. I just don't think she's in a winning team or a winning situation, and she doesn't know how to just flip that switch every game because the results aren't good. It's just her. You know, I mean, there's Alicia Gray, and but somehow it's just not adding up to winning. And we think of Alicia Gray as this positive teammate, positive player in every way, very unselfish. I also love Jordan Canada. Tina Charles is there. What's the missing piece? You know,
And
where
great to have an off year too last year or this season.
yeah, it wasn't as dominant as the previous season, but I mean, you had players step up like Naz Hillman, and
Yep.
then you got Cheyenne Parker Tyus, always killing it, doing her thing off the bench. You can't expect too much from her, you know. Like she's
And
never claimed to be a superstar in the league or anything. She's always been great defense, play finisher, and just a solid box out person. Like she holds her seals well. She's a good teammate. So I don't know why they're not winning. I don't know what it is. So I would chalk it up to coaching, and that's why Tanisha Wright's fired.
Makes sense.
You got to understand the weave. You know what I'm saying? We do a weave.
Ooh, yep.
Are you getting the reference?
Is that from the Rogan podcast?
I think he said it before the Rogan podcast, but it truly is a funny quote. Because that's something I can say I can relate to. The weave. Someone asks you a question or a topic comes up. Sometimes it's not as simple as yes or no. You gotta weave it in.
Yep.
You gotta bring a lesson into the story. Only high IQ people could do this.
Mm.
That's also part of the quote when he says the weave. He says, only the smartest. Oh, man. But, yeah, so that's some of our WNBA chat. You already know Caitlin Clark will have a new head coach next year. It's going to be very interesting to see. I'm excited, though. I really am. I think Melissa Smith is definitely traded because she took the fever out of her bio. So I wonder who's going to come in free agency or traded or something like that in the offseason.
Mitchell will stay.
Okay.
I think Mitchell will stay with Indiana.
Me too. I think Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark complement each other well. I think Kelsey Mitchell realized that halfway through the year. I think in the beginning she was like, "This is my squad. It's been my squad for like 5-6 years. I'm the leading scorer. I run shit." And she realized she could still run shit with Caitlin Clark.
It's gotta feel good for Mitchell to be on this Indiana team for so long and finally have another player who can score on her own.
At first, I think it was a little bit of, this is my team. Maybe I should leave. Maybe this is just like not built for me anymore. And I think Aaliyah Boston felt that way in the beginning too.
Right.
But the Caitlin Clark effect went from they were 1-8 to start the year to what was their, I don't even know what they finished, but they got in the playoffs and played pretty damn well.
They finished with the 6th seed, and it was really post-Olympic break is when you really saw the change.
Right. But I know they started the year 1-8, and that was rough.
They finished.
Everybody was talking shit, no matter what. I mean, they were 1-8. You couldn't say too much good things about them.
They finished 20-20.
20-20. All right, so they finished with the 500 record, but started 1-8. So that tells you they finished really strong, 19-12.
12, yeah.
It's a huge end to the season, and I think the role players are stepping up. And Caitlin Clark is now best friends with Lexi Hull. If you go on social media, either Lexi or Caitlin, they're posting each other every day. They're besties.
Yep, more Hull minutes, less Katie Lou Samuelson minutes, less Erica Wheeler minutes, less Christy Wallace minutes.
Please, less Christy Wallace minutes.
She had her starting. Oh my god!
I know she had her starting. It was rough. It was really rough, bro.
Just for that,
Just for that, I'm saying. That's why I said Christy Stein should have been fired a minute ago. And Erica Wheeler, highest paid player on the team, could barely come off the bench. She's getting $200K a year on a max contract. Shit's crazy out here. She shouldn't be getting a max deal.
Nasty work.
Nasty work.
She started 15 games. Christy Wallace started 15 games this year and played in 20.
Christy Wallace started 15 games. That's insane. We got 15 viewers in the chat right now. We got all 15 Christy Wallace's games are here. Oh my God, yeah. Christy Wallace, thanks for showing up to the stream. But yeah, it was rough for the Fever this year. I really think the coaching change was necessary. I don't think Kurt Miller would have allowed that bullshit. I think they would have went 25-15 with Kurt Miller, straight up.
He wouldn't have had that lineup.
No, he wouldn't have had that lineup. He's all about cohesion and spatial awareness and threes. Like, he loves that. And I really like that about Kurt Miller. I think he'll do solid in Indiana if they sign him, obviously. That's what I'm rooting for. But if it doesn't happen, have we fired our coach of the Sun yet? Can we bring Kurt Miller back?
I don't know, because Stephanie White's been talking about going to Chicago, I seen.
Really?
She's in talks with Chicago. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I don't know what's going on there. But Kurt
It's
Miller,
a
I'm pretty
rebuild year
positive.
for us, for sure. For the Connecticut Sun, we're in a rebuild. We're losing Bonner. We're losing Brianna Jones. We're losing Alyssa Thomas. And I believe a few others. The only people that are on contract for next year are Dejanay Carrington and Marina Mabry. So
Which
we're
is
in full
crazy.
rebuild mode, right? That's crazy. We're in full rebuild.
Yeah.
We got Udoda. Udoda's probably our big next year. My God, we're gonna have to sign Queen Egbo. Queen Egbo is gonna be our starting
Not
five next
again.
year. Not again.
Not again. No. We
What are we
don't
gonna
need a center.
do? We got maybe even
I put
Aster Fall is gonna be there. I don't
put
know if
Dejanay at the
Astu is even
5.
gonna be there. She might be a free agent by next year.
Dejanay's a good rebounder. Put her at the 5.
Right? Put
She's good.
Dejanay at the 5. I don't even care. Just literally do not put Udoda out there for 40 games. Please.
Yeah, she can get up there. Carrington can get up there. She can get up and get a rebound. She's tall
She'll get
enough.
a rebound. She'll pin some shit to the
She's
glass.
athletic.
If Tierra
Yeah.
McCowan comes into town, just put Carrington on her. That's all.
Not that
I don't know.
difficult.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I take that one back. I wouldn't want Dejanay. That'd be a crime against humanity to let Tierra McCowan smash down low
Right.
against Carrington all day.
Oh
But yeah,
man.
so there's a lot of things in flux right now in the W. But to start the NBA season, maybe we should just branch off to that real quick. How you feeling about the start of the NBA season and seeing how the Celtics are doing?
I'm loving what I'm seeing from Jason Tatum. I never thought I'd say that before, but aside from that Wizards game, he has shot really well, and it looks like he's kind of fixed that jumper. There's
Right.
something about it. It doesn't have much of a hitch in it. It doesn't look like he's. I don't know. There's something different about it. It just looks a lot smoother, like it did the first season or two of his NBA career, and
Right.
that three ball's been popping for him, and he's driving to the hoop with much more conviction, taking it strong to the rack. Derek White, aside from last night, shooting the 3 ball really well. That's pretty much what the Celtics are doing. They're shooting threes and playing. They're shooting threes, passing, and playing defense. It's pretty.
And
It's
that's
like it seems
Celtics
like a simple
basketball.
game plan.
Right.
It's
That's Celtics
working. It's
basketball
working.
pretty much. That's all Missoula preaches. He wants energy, he wants threes, and an attention to detail on defense. So as long as they bring that and have all the tools of every player on the roster, they're golden. I know missing Porzingis is
And
huge. You want a big. You don't want to rely on Cornette and Tillman for everything
oh,
because you only have Horford, and Horford's old. He's about 40. You want to actually bring an NBA center out there with you, but if you can't, you still have 8 other NBA players on the roster. You know, the starting lineup alone, still Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jalen Brown, and Tatum, like incredible, stellar team. You almost don't even have to include a center when you talk about the starting 4 because they're that good, and they do a little bit
and
of everything.
how many more rebounds is Cornette gonna miss? Why are you tall? Why are you 7'2" or 7 foot? Did you watch the game last? How many more rebounds are you gonna miss? Seriously, we're up
All
by
right, so I,
23
I
points.
didn't see all the rebounds he missed. I
He makes
seen the one where it bounced off back rim.
he makes me sick. He got 19 minutes last night. That was 19 minutes too much. I don't put in Kieda. Take Cornette out. Put in Kieda, or just play small ball or something. I can't with these Cornette minutes anymore. I really
I
can't.
like Kieda in the summer league minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He
He had a
always
good
looks
night.
like a real enforcer down there.
He had a good night against the Wizards when they were blowing him out in the fourth quarter, or whatever. Just get him on the court. Get
He's
Cornette
good
out of.
against the bums because the bums always just go for a dunk. That's all they do. Like in summer league, all they do is try to dunk on Keita the whole time. Every young guy that's in summer league just tries to take it to the hole. Keita's there. Boom.
But
Right at the rim, meeting everybody.
you're playing the Pistons, so there's no shortage of bums on that team. So
Right.
just put Kieda in the game and
Right.
leave Cornette on the bench with the celebrations. Just get him out, please.
That's all we want.
Because I can't take it anymore. Also, Drew Holiday.
You don't want no
night.
Luke Cornett butterflies?
Yeah, I do from the bench.
From
the
right,
bench.
right. We need some bench energy. We need some butterflies from the bench.
But
Yeah.
Drew last night did nothing until they were down by 6, and then he hit back-to-back. He was playing Vegas. He hit back-to-back three-pointers. Then he started locking up. He stripped somebody, blocked the shot out of nowhere. He was just hooping. He was playing Vegas. I didn't know the money line was that close in a game against the Pistons, but I
He
guess it
was.
was. They
It's
only won
always
by.
close against the Pistons. People are gonna bet the overs. You already know they're gonna bet for a blowout. Drew Holiday, it's his job to do this.
Didn't shoot
Vegas
all
relies
game.
on him.
Wasn't shooting all game and just hit back-to-back three-pointers to tie it up at 112.
That's what I
I was
was
like,
saying when he was on the Bucks and I was watching him. I'm like, this guy literally goes from like Michael Jordan to Michael Scott. Like there's no in between with Drew Holiday. Like he's dribbling off his shoe. He's like handing the ball to people. He'll get mixed up on defense out of nowhere and let his man go by and be like, "Oh, I thought we were switched." Like he'll do some of the craziest stuff you'll ever see, and you'll be like, "Did I just witness that? Did he just dribble off his shoe 2 straight possessions?"
and then
And
he made.
then and then out of nowhere, there's 30 seconds left in a quarter and the line is slightly off. He's going to go hit a step back three and look like Steph Curry and run back.
There's got to be so many clutch defensive plays that he's made throughout his career in the regular season and the postseason. I mean, just going back to that Bucks finals run, there was so many key plays he made defensively to help lead them to a championship.
And even then, his quote from the steal when he stripped Book and then threw it to Giannis, he said, "I threw it somewhere where I didn't even think Giannis could catch it." That was the exact quote. What did you mean by that? Why would he do that?
What does that tell you?
He threw it
Right, the
somewhere that he
Windhorst
thought
meme.
not even Giannis can catch it, and he was surprised that Giannis caught it. Why'd you try to throw it away from Giannis so far?
He knows Giannis is that good, I guess.
I guess so. He was pushing Giannis to the limit. He said, I'm gonna push you to be better.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna say. We're not gonna say it's Vegas. We're gonna say he knew Giannis was that good.
Right? He knew he was that good. He just wanted him to prove it.
Man.
But yo, I gotta put y'all onto my fast break lineup tonight real quick. Help me out. Tell me if I'm bugging. So I need 3 steals and 15 free throws. Do you think I got it tonight? Zion, Powell, Cam Thomas, Harden, and Denny.
Harden can do the free throws for you by himself, pretty much.
Right, like he could get me at least 10.
Then he gets to the free. Yeah, I think you could definitely get the free. Yeah, that seems easy enough.
Zion gets to the line a lot. He gets at least 7, 8 times as well. So I feel like the free throws I'm good. But Cam Thomas has been grabbing steals. He grabbed 3 opening night. Harden always grabs a steal or 2.
Yeah, Harden has a knack for that.
Do
He has a.
Denny also always gets steals, plays great defense, and he gets to the line a little bit, and he's consistent. So I need 15 makes. I think I could get that, and 3 steals shouldn't be too difficult. What do y'all think?
Because Zion got to the free throw line, he took 14 free throws, and that went against the Trailblazers, and he made only 8 of them. But if Zion can make 8,
right,
you should be in good shape.
Right, even if Zion makes 6 and Harden makes 6, that's 12. You know?
Yeah.
Like all I need is 3 free throws. And Cam Thomas gets to the free throw line, especially against the Bucks. Like it's either he's gonna absolutely cook up against the drop coverage and just go midi crazy, or he's gonna get to the line a lot because the guards can't defend him. Like you have Dame over there, Gary Trent Jr., Darrell Wright, Pat Connaughton. Who's guarding Cam Thomas for real?
It's a good
That's
question.
Just the way I think about it. Like seriously, Bucks roster. Who else? Who else is gonna guard him? AJ Johnson, Taurean Prince. You're gonna put Taurean Prince on Cam Thomas?
That might be your best bet, to be honest.
Beauchamp, he's not even a real defender.
I'd rather have Terry and Prince on him over Gary Trent Jr. or Pat Connaughton.
Yeah, I mean AJ Green might be the only guy who might try. I like Andre Jackson Jr., but he doesn't play much, and he doesn't really offer anything else.
He offers absolutely nothing offensively.
Correct, very correct. And Matas Buzelis was busting his ass in summer league. I witnessed it in person, so I know for a fact he was getting his ass bust by a rookie. So I'm out on Andre Jackson Jr. I'm sorry. I love my UConn guys, but I'm out on him.
Damn.
Oh yeah, let me show you. I've been on a heater with fast break. So night 1, I just made it. 20 assists, 25 rebounds, but I only needed 20. This night killed me because I even predicted Cam Thomas being the leading scorer. 5 players to combine for 130 points. I got the 36 from Cam Thomas, 25 from Giannis, 21 from Mitchell, 25 from Maxey. Isn't it crazy when you look at these stats who the leading scorer is?
Strange, right?
When you really like think about it, actually think about it, right? What everyone has talked about our whole lives, scoring points, everything else, being a superstar, what it means to be a star in the NBA and everything else. And then you show someone a picture like this and they go, yeah, that guy that plays for Brooklyn, he just puts up shots. He's not really good.
That's crazy.
He's just a gunner. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't play defense.
Who would have thought?
I thought.
I thought. Right.
I thought this was possible.
I'll tell you who thought.
I'll tell you. I know the guy. I know him personally. But yeah, Cam Thomas, 36 points opening night, completely killing it. Simons ruined me. 15 points, bro. You don't even like. Sharp was out. Shaedon Sharp's out. Why aren't you scoring? Scoot Henderson could barely even see the rim. He wears goggles. You have somebody who's legally blind as your co-star at the guard spot, and he's doing better than you.
Wait, how many points did you miss by?
I missed by 8. 122 out of 130. It's my only loss out of the whole run. And this is the night I get Cam Thomas to go off, too. Yeah, I got screwed. But next night was pretty solid. Check this out. 35 out of 35. I'm getting real lucky here. I'll zoom in a little more. Maybe you can see it. But Ant Edwards and Jaylen Brown saved me 10 field goals made each.
35. That's kind of tough. Yeah.
Right? 35 field goals from 5 people. That's 7 per person.
And with MPJ, you never know what he's going to do.
Right.
And Eldon Johnson's kind of shaky, and he's coming off the bench. So
right, and he was coming off the bench. It was a risky pick with this, but I was just thinking, I'm like, what if he just has a night? There was a few starters I could have picked for this, but I picked him, and I don't know. It still worked out.
I feel like DeRozan you can rely on.
Oh, yeah. When you think about DeRozan, and to me, I was like, can DeRozan get me 5 field goals? And in my head, I'm like, that's 10 points. DeRozan scores 10 points.
Easy.
You know? So that one seemed pretty easy, like a no-brainer to me. Friday night, it was 30 rebounds, 15 three-pointers. And for people who are unfamiliar with NBA Top Shot and Fast Break, if you own their card, you could play them. A common gets you 1 play per cycle. A rare gets you 2 plays. A legendary gets you 4 plays. So for the most part, my collection is cheap, and I only got commons. So if you ever see like, oh, how come you didn't start LeBron this night? Because I started LeBron another night. Right. I don't have a million LeBrons to use every night he plays. So you actually have to either put the money up to put, Steph Curry in every lineup, Giannis in every lineup, Luka in every lineup. But you have to buy a Luka Legendary, which is like $400, $500. So, you got to just take the good with the bad and make mixed lineups, and hopefully you get lucky like this one. I threw in Levine. I said, you know what? F it. I hope Levine does some stuff tonight. If he goes off, hits a bunch of threes, I'm golden. And that's what I needed. I need somebody to go off, but it was LaMelo, 9 threes, 30 rebounds and 15 threes is crazy
But
because those are just two separate things typically. Typically, people who get rebounds don't shoot threes at a high volume.
but Davis and Towns could get you the rebounds themselves. How many rebounds did they combine for?
So Davis only got me 8 rebounds, 0 threes.
Mm-hmm.
But Karl Anthony Towns saved my life. 15 boards, 2 threes. And then you got LaMelo with 5 boards, Levine with 5 boards, and then Lillard with 4.
So that's
So
23 rebounds from just those two guys.
right, 23 rebounds from just them. So I just needed 7 boards from Dame, Levine, and LaMelo, which I thought is possible.
Yeah,
And
and
same with
LaMelo's a good rebounder too.
right. And I was hoping for like 5 threes from Dame, 2 or 3 from Levine, 5 threes from LaMelo, and just kind of praying for the rest for whatever Cat and AD could give me. Because I know Cat can give me 2 at least a game, and that's what he gave.
And AD might hit one.
Right. He might hit one, especially with JJ Redick, who wants efficient shots. He won't want those long twos anymore. It's either going to be a drive at the rim, a short midi, or that 3. He's not allowing long twos like that.
Yeah, AD just doesn't take them a lot. That's the only thing.
No. And then last night was points in the paint and assists, and I just made it with assists. So I took Shea, who only had 2 assists last night, Randall, John Morant, Scotty Barnes, and Anthony Davis. And we killed it with points in the paint. We only needed 45. I got 70. But assists, I got 25 out of 25. So yeah, your boy's been blessed so far, other than this one.
Been cooking.
Cooking, bro. So the rewards, if I get up to 6 wins, I get a special pack. And then also in the run, the top 500 people win at least $10 for the whole cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And the higher you place, look at this, top 100, you get 25. 26 through 100, you get 75. It moves up from 250, 500, 2,500, 5,000. And then the first place gets courtside seats.
And where are you at? Where are you at?
Right now in the run, I'm 300th. So 300 gets me $10 right now.
Oh, so worst case scenario. That's pretty
Worst
nice.
case scenario, I get $10. Also, I get these 3 packs: the 9-win pack, the 6-win pack, and the 3-win pack. The 9-win pack, if you win 9 out of 12 nights, bro, that pack at least goes for $80, I'm guessing, or more.
And what's on the left?
Because I did this for the WNBA, and I got I sold it for $120 for a 9-win pack on a WNBA. And I was like, let's go. Because that's off of things that you own. So it's
Right.
based off of all the cards you have and then how you play them in fantasy. Like if you're using the right people on the right nights, you could win even more money. So an Asia Wilson rare might be $80. But if you use an Asia Wilson rare through the cycle and you win the 9-win pack and you flip it for 120, that's a $40 profit, right?
Yeah.
Because you bought it for 80 to win 120. And now you could still sell the Asia for 80 because people are buying Asia because they know she's going to result in winning free packs. So, like, if you know the right players to buy, you buy the right players, you win through fantasy, you flip your pack, and then you flip the players back to the market, and then you get all of your profits all together. And that's what I've been doing. I've been getting all the profits, I've been flipping, and then I've been using the profits instead of just pulling it out. I buy more Cam Thomas moments, more Cam Thomas rares, and his rookie cards. And I've just been stacking them because I don't know. I've been doing good in every other strategy, and I feel like just dumping the profits into Cam Thomas rookie cards will pay off eventually, and they have so far. So right now we got the rares are up to $85, and I was buying them for anywhere from 30 to $50 each. And the Top Shot debut is still about $4 his rookie, but I'm still stacking it. I don't care.
And
I'm stacking his rookie.
where do you get the courtside seats at?
Oh, so the court side right here. Let me go. It says it's $15,000 in value to any NBA game of your choosing. So whoever wins gets to pick out where they want to sit in what game.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yep, up to a $15,000 value. So
God damn.
whatever that buys you. You know, you could go to, like, let's say you live in Boston, but you want to go to Knicks versus Lakers because it could be a cool night. You could pick out, oh yeah, let me buy the tickets to MSG for this night for floor seats, and they'll go, okay, and then they'll send you the itinerary.
I'd have to go to a Lakers at Celtics game.
Right? Lakers at Celtics on the floor. Oh my god, that would be so epic. But yeah, bro, I mean, Top Shot's doing a lot of things for, Fast Break this year. I feel like they're investing in the user base. And also, top 50 of the day gets a free pack. So that's another thing. Like, you get daily rewards, you get win streak rewards, and then you get overall the week, basically, whatever you want to call it, the schedule rewards or the run. They call it the run rewards, but for somebody that doesn't really follow what we're talking about, they create a 12 game slate, and you have to win 9 out of 12 nights, and you win a super special pack that has rare and legendary cards that are worth anywhere from $20 to potentially thousands of dollars. Like Wemby. Wemby, for example, I could show you what Wemby's cards are going for. The cheapest Wemby right now is $335. The most expensive Wemby is about $8,500. So there's a chance, they might throw in a super rare Wemby that's this one right here. Let's say they'll throw in a Freshman Gems rare Wemby going for $2,500.
God damn.
And just so you think, just to kind of be like, oh, well, it's $25. That's just the lowest someone's selling it. It doesn't mean they're buying it. When you go to make an offer, it tells you the highest offer on it. So the highest offer at the moment that could be accepted by any owner of this card. If you own this card right now, you could press accept and you will have $1,100 in your account.
Wow.
$1,126. That's the highest offer at the moment for that card this second. So, there is stuff. There's a lot of stuff. People can make money off Top Shot. I've been doing solid. As long as you know basketball, you put your money where your mouth is and where your brain is, you'll be fine. I'm telling you.
Well,
I'm trying to win courtside. I won't win courtside though because I lost. There's gonna be a guy who goes 12-12.
you're
There's always one guy who just is so fucking lucky. Also, who probably owns a lot of moments. If you own a legendary LeBron, you get 4 plays out of LeBron. It's easier to win if you play stat stuffers and superstars every single night. So if you have the bankroll, you can potentially, win a lot. That's what I gotta say. So
does it show you how many people you're competing against?
yeah, it shows me. Yeah, I could pull that up too. I think it's over 5,000.
Oh, so that's pretty good. 300 out of 5,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is pretty solid. Wish I was doing a little better, but it'll come with the rest of the nights. As the schedule goes on, less people own less cards, and the people with bigger collections or whatever have a better chance. So I have enough to fill out all of the roster spots. Like if you only own 10 cards, you could only fill out 2 nights.
Right.
That's just how it is. So you want to make sure you have everything. But let me see. Oh shit, 7,000 people are in this run. 7,000. You see it
Even better, yeah.
right here. 7,000. Yeah, 7,480. 88. So yeah, I'm at 378.
And what's your lineup tonight?
My lineup tonight. This is what I was showing you. The free throws. Let me zoom out a little. I think I'm zoomed in too
No,
close.
you already told me. I forgot.
Yeah, 3 threes. I mean, 3 steals, 15 free throws.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I got this win in the bag. I think I'll be all right. Win this bread. And I think I get this is the 5th win tonight. So I need 6 wins to get the 6 win pack. And those packs usually go for anywhere from like 15 to 40.
Gotcha.
So either way, like I'm happy with it. And the more and more they do these challenges, hopefully Cam Thomas ends up on the nights where I actually need him, and it's not like a rebound night or in blocks for the Nets. It's like free throws, field goals, points, 3-pointers, steals. Like those are things that he does create. So eventually it's going to get to the point where only the Nets play. Some nights it's only like 1 or 2 teams play, and then they'll say you need the Top Shot debut to sub in for whoever tonight. So then people have to go to his rookie card, and I got them all.
Right.
So then that's when I start flipping. I bought them all for $3. People need them for the night. Start selling them, 10, $15 a pop. I got hundreds of them, bro. I'll just bing, 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 bing.
Oh,
Yep. And then with that money, then you take that money and then you buy LeBron's special moments. That's the end game goal. Using Cam Thomas as a vessel to flip up in the market to get LeBron's or Michael Jordan's if they ever drop, Kobe's, the best of the best moments possible. But starting Top Shot and looking at all the prices and everything, like I couldn't afford Allen Iverson's best moments, or things like that. So if I want LeBron's first ever moment on Top Shot, or when he broke the all-time points record, there's only like 100 of them or less. So like it's very expensive. They go for like 5 G's a pop. And the people who own them take it serious. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like it's not like they just collect it one day and then don't care about the next. These are hardcore collectors. So the value will stay there. And this is a licensed NBA product. It's like Panini or Donruss or Score, Upper Deck, any other card collecting brand. It's like that, but just this is digital, and it's been around for about 5 years now. I believe in it. I don't care. I don't care what people say. I mean, they fucked up. They've had some bad releases, but it is what it is. Like like no company's perfect. Panini has dropped imperfect products before. Fanatics drop imperfect products. Sometimes you won't get the right autograph on a card. Redemptions don't get sent back in time. Whatever it may be. But regardless, I think this is a pretty cool product, and I like interacting with it and setting these lineups. I think it's built well. Like there's a certain amount of game theory in it. Game theory meaning like people have to choose. And you have to make decisions. There's only a certain amount of people you can put in your lineup every day. So that alone you have to pick and choose. And two, the game theory part really ties in to how many moments exist. Like Wembanyama, for example, there's only his rookie cards. So only the people who could play him in fantasy own his rookie cards. So there's only so many Victor Wembanyama's. There's probably about 4,000 in total. And as we've seen, about 8,000 people play this game. So automatically, if only 4,000 exist, half the people playing cannot use Wemby. That alone is the example I'm trying to show you about game theory. It's only a certain amount of people can do this. Now, if you want to get into the Wemby business, you got to spend $300 minimum, and that takes someone out. So it's also a zero-sum game potentially. If one person owns a Wemby, they sell it to you. Now you have it. Now they don't. Now they have the disadvantage in the game. Potentially there could be people like me with Cam Thomas who I own 900 Cam Thomas rookie cards. So just because I sell one to you, now that means there's more opportunities at Cam Thomas, right? Because I actually withhold 900. So that's me withholding 900 or 899 from everyone else having at least one to be able to play him. So now I am like the gatekeeper of how many Cam Thomas can be played in a night, because when no one cared about Cam Thomas, I was buying Cam Thomas from his rookie year till right now. Now everybody wants Cam Thomas cards. I was the guy buying them every single day for $2 a pop. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like that type of thing can happen. And that's what I was aiming for. And now it's happening. Cam Thomas is a star in the league, or at least a star in his team, and really producing a lot of specific stats. So people are now going to go to him for fantasy, and now they got to come through me to get that card.
Yep.
That was the name of the game. So that's what we playing. But yeah, so that's the Top Shot fast break segment. We're done with that fantasy part. I do want to go back to the Christy Sides thing about the WNBA. I can't believe 6 coaches got fired. Like I'm still flabbergasted. Imagine in the NBA, the men's league, 15 head coaches got fired. That's what just happened. 12 teams are in the W, 6 coaches got fired. 30 teams in the NBA, that would mean 15 got fired.
I
Half
just
of the league?
and I
That's
feel
that's crazy. I don't like that instability, to be honest, and especially in a year where they made so many strides with the average fan, people who aren't even fans, brought them in. Now there's going to be new coaches, unfamiliar faces. I think it should be consistent across the league. Like, I'm not saying no head coach should have got fired because that's kind of crazy, but like that amount of change when people are just starting to get acclimated to your league, I think is kind of weird.
and I feel like some of the coaches, I don't know, they didn't give him enough time. Like Kurt Miller, I don't
Kurt
think
Miller and Teaspoon,
and
both of them shouldn't have got fired, straight up.
I didn't think Teresa Witherspoon got enough time. I'm not saying she's necessarily a great coach, but your two star players in Angel Reese and Kennedy Carter seem to gravitate towards her. Why are you going to fire her?
Why are you going to fire her? That made no sense to me.
So
The one thing that was a fireable offense for Teresa Witherspoon was when she was letting Angel Reese shoot the technical free throws so she could get her double doubles because she was struggling to score points.
they were forcing it way too much with her.
That was the one thing where I'm like, all right, you're not playing basketball anymore. You're competing with Caitlin Clark in a weird way.
And to me, it's another story if you're up by 20. But she was doing it when they were down by 20 in the final minute or two, and the game was way out of reach. That's a whole
Yeah.
different story. To me, I don't have as much of a problem with it if you're winning, but you're not winning. So I don't think you should be doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Having her shoot the free throws just to make sure, like, and she did that a few times. It wasn't like a one-time thing, and I'm just getting off a little talking point. No, it happened all year. She was the designated free throw shooter for that. It was Marina Mabry a little bit in the beginning, and then it slowly turned into Angel Reese because Mabry missed back-to-back free throws, and she never was allowed to do it again. And then she got traded to the Sun right after.
I think didn't she have 2 games where she missed clutch free throws?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was 2 times where she missed clutch times right at the end of the game, and they said, "Up, it's Angel Reese rest of the year."
Or
But it should have never been Angel Reese because she's not the best free throw shooter. Regardless if it's not Mabry, it's not Angel Reese either.
yeah, or when the game was out of reach, they'd force it to her. Didn't Tina Charles foul her hard once when she was trying to go for a double double and trying to score a bucket? Yeah,
Yeah.
they were
I'm
real.
glad Tina Charles stopped the BS because who was it that allowed it? There was some team that let her score the bucket at the end and still fouled her, but didn't foul her hard. They basically
I
like
don't know.
let her get the and one.
I
I
don't.
think it was the Liberty. I'm almost sure it was the Liberty that did like a soft foul and let her finish. But Tina Charles was like, "No, you're not doing that here, not
Right, she's
tonight."
old school.
Yeah, she's old school. That's why I love Tina Charles. My top 3 favorite player ever is Tina Charles. I like Tamika Catchings, Tina Charles, and Maya Moore. Those are my 3 legends. But Tamika Catchings, best defender ever. No one's better.
5-time defensive player of the year.
5-time defensive player of the year, is not a big. She just locks up 1 through 4, and she did everything that a team really needs. But she's like Alyssa Thomas, like on steroids.
That's scary.
Seriously, like that's basically what you got from Catchings. Imagine if Alyssa Thomas could actually hoop like could pull up, like she could actually like pull up. Alyssa Thomas is an amazing basketball player. Should have won, could have won MVP against Asia. But I'm talking about like crossover jumpers. That's the one thing Alyssa Thomas doesn't have, and somehow she still gets to the rim and does what she wants. But I'm
Yeah,
talking about like a hooper hoop. Like I'm talking about some isolation basketball, some pull up on you, just the same way Tweety would. Like I don't know. I'm talking about like Cappy Pondexter, all the OGs. Deanna Nolan is Tweety. But
hmm
like she could pull up like Tweety could, cross you over twice, pull up from 3, do whatever. Like Catchings had some of that game too. So the fact that you play like Alyssa Thomas, you lock up, do all these things, you also facilitate and could lead the league in assists, but
right.
you also got buckets. Like she was the best. Tamika Catchings, if anyone doesn't know, she grew up with Kobe in Europe. They grew up childhood best friends. And that's another thing that people don't realize. Like, she really was built for this. If you respect any way Kobe came up, Tamika Catchings came up the exact same way. Literally, childhood friends in Italy, playing soccer together, learning how to play basketball together. They actually played on the same team. She played on the boys' team. There's a lot of cool things about her. Also, she's deaf, legally deaf. So if you ever hear Tamika Catchings speak, she may seem to sound like she has a speech impediment or anything like that, but she's deaf. So she's just overcame the odds in every single way, even down to, like I said, a European player, not necessarily from Europe. You know, her parents are from United States, but over there because they were playing professional basketball. Same with Joe Jellybean Bryant. He was over there overseas playing basketball, had his kid overseas, which leads me to my next favorite player, Cam Thomas, born in Japan
Oh,
because
okay.
his parents were working overseas. New GOAT. Think of Kyrie Irving, born in Australia because his dad was balling overseas. Look how good he is. You know, you grew up with an international mindset to the game, which is all about teamwork and everything else, but also to learn the American side of the individuality of the player. And it's the combination of the two, which makes some of the greatest players of all time. You know,
Ball.
you got to trust the weave.
Yeah.
Always trust the weave. Just know it'll end up in the right place. All right, what you want to talk about the UFC?
No, I don't.
You
Not
don't.
no, no,
Man, had every parlay busted.
bro. I actually didn't even put down many parlays. I just put down the one fights, and it didn't work out too well for me.
Yeah. No, it was a tough night to judge. I'll tell you that much. But I think it honestly went exactly how I thought it would, but not the way I would have picked, if that makes sense. Like I would have picked Holloway over Topuria, but I thought in my heart of hearts Topuria's winning.
I didn't think he'd do him like that though.
I knew it because Max wasn't putting up the belt. So
I,
it's obvious they don't want to, that alone.
he didn't have confidence in himself.
He didn't.
That's tough.
Yeah, so he didn't put up the BMF belt. That's not the baddest motherfucker in the world move. The
Right.
baddest motherfucker in the world would have put that belt up. And that's the way I see it. Chimaev, we already knew. He smashed everybody. But
No.
the way he smashed his teeth.
Yeah.
Because I wondered, I was like looking, and the way he got that headlock on, I'm like, why did he tap so quick? He was on his jaw and he cracked his front teeth, the bottom row. That's crazy.
Yeah. I had to watch that. I had to watch that work, and I was like, when I seen it, I was like, Vegas.
Vegas, how did he tap so quick?
I
But
thought.
then he goes, no, look, and his whole bottom tooth, everything just fell off.
Yeah.
Like
I thought of you right away. I was like, Vegas. No way.
no way he tapped over the chin within 2 seconds. It was like the fastest tap ever. It was faster than Darren Till when he had a broken collarbone and didn't tell nobody.
Mm-hmm.
It was faster than that. Like
Yeah.
I was like, how did he do that? But the way he must have just cranked and jerked it, the last pause at the last second
Woo!
to get.
Damn.
Woo! Thank God I paused it. But the way he did it, you see it like when he locks it in and he taps immediately. Like he's like, oh.
Yeah.
But that's what it was. He cracked his tooth as soon as he yanked. He cracked it. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, that was different. Chimaev is on another level. And I mean, that was like, I don't know, that's some KGB stuff. He knows some Russian wrestling that is not taught to the public.
Right. So
Some hidden fighting techniques, but also hidden fighting techniques from a Russian. Let's talk about the double spinning back fist by the Bullet.
bro.
Oh my God, Shara Magomedov with the spinning back fist into the spinning back fist. It's a double.
And it was a close fight until he hit him with that spinning back fist too.
Yeah, it was. I definitely thought no, Armand got a few hits off early that kind of gave you the feeling that it was even. If that makes sense.
He had a lot of good calf kicks though.
I think he earned a lot of respect early. And he punched Shower in his glass eye. And I think that made him really uncomfortable in the beginning.
Right.
Because his everything around it didn't swell up. It got red. Like if you get like fouled or something.
Yeah.
Like you get like a red spot. Like it seemed like it got irritated, if that makes sense. Like the glass eye, like pressing against something must have been irritated. It looked like the skin was irritated. It didn't look like swelling like a punch. It looked like it rubbed wrong. and like the eye socket is not supposed to be, rubbed wrong
Yeah,
like
because
that.
it was red. It was like red just below the eye.
Yeah, it
Just
was
below the eye.
red. It wasn't like a bruise or anything. It looked
Yeah,
like a irritation. That's the best way I could describe it. So yeah, I think whatever it was is that glass eye hurt him when it gets punched.
right.
Not the way a normal eye would just kind of get squished and bounce back. That glass eye definitely got jammed. But other than that, he fought pretty well, and that's the only time we could bet against the Armenians. That's my one rule. You never bet against the Armenians. And Petrosian lost, so I'm sorry, man, but it's the pirate. It's the Russian ginger one-eyed pirate.
The double spinning back fist.
Shara Magomedov, the bullet.
That was something else. And
Yeah.
he called out Adesanya.
And then he called out Adesanya after. I'm like, this is it.
I don't like that.
But nah, he's gonna get fucked up by Adesanya.
He get murdered by Adesanya.
Yeah, there's one thing about him that I don't think he hits hard enough.
No.
He doesn't generate power because he's a kicker.
He swings for the fences too, but he
swings hard, but he doesn't punch hard. And there's a reason, because he's not flat-footed. If you look at the way he fights and everything, he's so light on his feet, he's constantly bouncing. It's the people like Yoel Romero or who's the little guy who fought, who's a powerhouse? Hugo. Who did Hugo fight this week?
Basharat.
Basharat, yeah. Watch how Hugo fights. Powerhouse. If you get hit by him, that's type of knockout power. I mean, he lost to Basharat, but if anything, I thought he gave Basharat a hell of a fight.
And he came in on short notice too.
Yeah, he did come in off short notice. But like Hugo, you look at the way he stands, everything, his feet, all that. He's a power puncher. You could just tell. And the way he plants and he throws, you see it. It's a lot of power, and he's very grounded. Shara's not grounded, so he doesn't knock people out. He catches you, you might fall, you might be TKO'd, but he doesn't KO you. He doesn't have KO power. And I think with Adesanya, if you're going to play a point game with Adesanya, you're going to lose because he's not built like Adesanya. Adesanya's way too long. His legs are too long. His reach is too long. He's taller than Shara as well.
He's built too. Like Adesanya, he was ready for that Duplessis fight. He came in with a lot of muscle.
Oh yeah,
he
did
muscle on him.
But I think against Shara, he has way too much power.
Yeah.
The bullet doesn't have enough for him. He doesn't have enough steam on his punches. They're all like light because he's on his feet and he's like bing bing, like he's just piecing you up, and then he'll hit you with a spinning combo. And on a spin, you get a lot of torque. You do get a lot of torque on a spin. That's why spinning head kicks are so devastating.
Right.
Like, it's a lot of torque spin and also the power that you have. So you're using two things. You're using physics to help you. Where, yeah, he's not going to get that off on Adesanya. So that's Shara.
And plus, seeing Adesanya actually knock out people, like he has that one punch kind of knockout power.
Right.
Or like
he
a
still
quick.
Has that.
I feel like it's going to be an accumulation of things if it's Shara, but also when you're throwing the spinning double back fist, I guess it's not.
But you don't land that on Adesanya.
Yeah, Adesanya's too smart.
No. What else? Was there any other good ones? I was so surprised about Abus.
Which one are we talking? Oh yeah.
That was a good fight. Like at times I'm like, yo, Abus got slumped. And then he wins. He beats Bruno Ferreira.
And Ferreira was on a big streak too.
He was. He's the Hulk smash.
Mm-hmm.
He beat Hulk, which was pretty interesting. I was really sad about Chris Barnett and Kennedy Nzechukwu. So I had Hawk. Hawk was with me on Discord. We're streaming it and we're watching the UFC fights. And I'm like, bro, watch this fight. This fight's gonna be something interesting. He's like, why? And I'm like, just trust me. Trust me, this fight's going to be interesting. It's 5'8" Chris Barnett, who's a heavyweight. He weighs like 270, short, fat guy, but he does karate. He does spinning kicks. He's nuts. He does front flips, and he's cool. Then you got Kennedy Nzechukwu, who's like, he's kind of soft, but he's a 6'5" power puncher. But I think he's soft. I think he's got a glass jaw. And so it's just an interesting matchup of a 6'5" lanky power puncher versus a 5'8" fat karate technical fighter. Like the body matchup is hilarious. And it turned out to be that. UFC said this is one of the biggest height differences ever that they've ever put in a fight. 5'8" versus 6'5". And so that's like a 9-inch difference. So yeah, it was a big difference, and it was interesting to see as soon as they went out there. But what I noticed on the walkout, before Chris Barnett even technically tore his Achilles, I think I see what he did before.
No, it was his knee.
Oh, he tore his knee?
Yeah.
It turned out to be his knee?
I thought they said it was his knee.
It was I believe he popped his Achilles again because he jumped in the ring and he stomped.
No, I saw that. And then he landed awkwardly on it, and then he went back into the fence.
Yes. So either that he blew his ACL or he blew his Achilles right there. But I actually think that was the test. He popped it before. If you watch him walk up the stairs into the ring, he falls. And I said it. I said it as soon as it happened. So it's not even like I said it before the fight. I even said it before he jumped and stomped. He's walking up the stairs. If you rewatch the entire UFC, you watch him walk out, he falls going up the stairs. And it was really weird because he stayed for a half a second. Like when he tripped, it looked like he popped something or he got hurt because he caught himself, but he didn't pop up. He stayed there for a second, and then he like inched up.
Oh, I didn't.
Like he didn't pop up quick at all. And then when he went into the ring, I seen he kind of looked like he stumbled in there, and then it looked like he jumped to try to like, bring some energy. Like I'm good, I'm not hurt. And no, he was hurt. When he stomped, he realized, oh, I popped something. Whatever I tripped on and hurt, I hurt it bad. This is an injury. This isn't like something's nagging.
But he said he hurt it on the spin kick.
I don't believe that at all because he tripped twice before the fight started.
Right.
And he's an athlete. Like Chris Barnett is not like some clumsy, dumb fighter. As chubby and out of shape as he may be, that guy is super athletic and light on his feet. A guy like that doesn't trip and fall twice before a fight unless something's wrong. And he tripped and fell twice in the ring. So
I don't know what they're not saying what the injury was, because I thought when he went down, I thought when he actually fell after Kennedy KO or TKO'd him, I thought he was holding his hamstring. But then when he got back,
but bro, that's what happens when you tear your Achilles. It's a rubber band that snaps and goes all the way back up.
but I thought when he got back up and he went on the stool when he was sitting on the steps when he was getting ready to leave after the fight, I thought he was holding his knee. So I don't really know which one it was, but
well, I will say the Achilles goes from your butt to your heel. So it could affect anything from there. But yeah, there's sometimes when you tear your Achilles, it shoots up like a rubber band and they have to cut up into the back of your leg and pull it back down.
All right.
I know you hate that shit, but there's some Achilles tears where they don't have to do that, where they just repair the tendon that's partially torn.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Potentially that thing shot right back up.
That's nasty.
And it's real bad.
And then
especially because he just tore it.
And then Dos Anjos got hurt. He blew it. He blew out his knee there. We know that's a knee.
It might be a knee, but my God, he got his ass whooped.
He was getting his ass whooped before because he had gotten knocked down.
That was an Aspen wall.
Yeah, that was an Aspen wall. He got because
remember that, right? Curtis Blades beat his ass for 30 seconds, and then out of nowhere he blows his knee. And I felt like Dos Anjos, that was the same situation. He went out there, literally got worked in the first minute, and then out of nowhere just falls backwards with an ACL.
Right, because Jeff Neal knocked him down, and he took Dos Anjos down.
Right, yo, the takedown. I'm like,
the takedown was even worse. But I think he hurt his knee on that takedown. The takedown was kind of awkward by Jeff Neal, and I think that's what actually hurt him.
That's probably it.
Because
he was getting cracked. There was no chance. He was a dead man.
Yeah, that was sad to see.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he's 40.
Yesterday.
Right, we both said it. He turned 40.
Yeah, he just turned 40 yesterday.
It was his birthday, so tough for him.
Did you see the first fight? This boy on steroids?
The boy on steroids. Who are you talking about?
Carlos Leal, the Brazilian. You see the acne all over his back and chest.
No, I didn't get to see him, but I did hear a joke.
He won.
Someone made a joke
He should have
later
won.
in the card. It was talking about somebody's back. Oh, they were talking about Abus. And they were saying, look at how ripped Abus is now. You know, he's not training in Russia anymore. He's training in America and he's on like a different regimen and he's like taking weightlifting serious and everything else. And they said, Abus's back almost looks like the guy from the beginning of the fight. So
Yeah.
that's what you were talking about?
Go look at Leal's back and chest. Pause, but go look at his back and chest. Look at all the acne he has on his back and chest.
Well, that's how I knew
He had his
I
vein.
remember when I was at summer league, and bro, I was walking by the back of the bench, and I seen Luka Samanic, and I was like, "Nah, this guy's juiced the fuck up." I called it 2 years before he got busted for peds.
Damn.
I seen him. You could tell when somebody's on steroids, and you actually know, like, you've had previous experience with people you know who have been on steroids. Like, I knew it as soon as I looked at Samanic. I said, "That guy's on juice."
And
Like
he had
high juice.
out. He was screaming. Leal's definitely. You got. Have you seen? Do you see what he looks like?
Let me see. Carlos Leal.
Yeah. Leal.
Yep. And they even said that they robbed him blind.
He did because I thought the first round was close and he clearly won the second and third rounds.
Interesting.
But he was fighting a Russian fighter, so.
Right. Hey, the third round ended good though. The Russian guy, they were really throwing shit at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh my god, that guy's on juice. Yeah, I'm looking at his back.
And on his chest too, he's got a bunch of acne. It's crazy how he got away with it.
Hey, if you don't hit the limits, right? The absurd amount of back knee. You're right. Oh my god, I'm looking at all the still shots right now.
Could it be any more obvious?
Right. Yeah, that is pretty obvious. Most definitely roids. Especially when you're built like that, you could tell when somebody's on roids. Their body gets like a specific way. Like I said with Samanic, because I seen him the year before. I studied him in the draft, and I seen a bunch of pictures of him. And then he came to like draft night, and he was like built like. You remember when Gordon Hayward got like when he was at the peak of his powers, and he was like looking nuts
With the Celtics, yeah.
with the Celtics, like his first year, right before he broke his ankle, he was looking crazy. But not necessarily he had to be on steroids because he was a grown man then. He already had an all-star year in Utah. Like it was a build-up, and he built up his body like that. Samanic came in summer league as a rookie looking like that, and I'm like, nah, Samanic ain't built like that.
That's juice.
That's juice. There's only a few guys built like that in the world naturally, and it's like fucking Andrew Wiggins, and that's about it.
Mm.
Like he was the way he was built. I'm like, hell no,
Right.
hell the fuck no. So I knew that shit. Like you could just tell certain people. So yeah, Leal, he's on the juice hard.
Definitely.
Yeah, big time juice. But yeah, it seems like the end of it for the Arslan knockout was pretty cool.
Which one was that?
The last fight of the prelim.
Oh, I missed that one.
Oh, okay. It was right before the Bullet fight.
Yeah, I missed that one. I got back for the main card.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that last fight actually was pretty. I mean, it happened quick. I didn't know who was gonna win. Honestly, it was a pretty interesting fight. But Arslan is huge. I realized that when he got in the ring, like the size difference and stuff. And for 185, he's pretty big. Looks like he holds weight well. There's some guys who look in there, they come in drained. He didn't look drained at all. He still looked a little puffed up.
Did you see the Rebecca fight?
Yeah, I seen the Rebecca fight.
Yeah. Crazy, man. Oh my god. That dude's eye.
Yeah.
Oral by. Holy
Oral
hell.
by with the orbital fracture. Orbital.
I never seen an eye look like that.
I know he broke it 100% with that punch. Like it went from open like a normal eyeball to like swollen in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I couldn't
It
believe
was shut. It didn't change for 20 minutes, however long that fight lasted. It happened in the first 2 minutes, His eye looked the same as it did from 2 minutes on to the end.
It looked like he had a ping pong ball in his eye.
It was so puffy and big.
And
So
he
yeah,
still won a round. Well,
right, and he still won a round.
on one judge's scorecard, he won 2 rounds.
No, I agree. Orobai's tough.
Yeah.
He's tough, but I don't think he was ready for what Rebecki does. Rebecki's just a Polish hammer. That's the way all the Polish guys fight. They literally just drop bombs on you the whole night, straight haymakers. And if they're good enough, it's gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to pick these guys apart. If you can't point fight a Polish fighter, you're gonna lose. That's the way I see it. Or if you can't just ragdoll them, but typically you can't.
Right.
It's like Jan Blachowicz. Think about all the Polish fighter. Really think about the Polish fighters and what they do. They got the power. They got the Polish power. They got the lights out power. That's it. That's their best asset. They have anti-wrestling. You don't take them down typically, and they got the Polish power. But typically they're not point fighters. Jan is the Polish fighter that took it above and beyond, and that's why he was champ and is the fighter he always has been. Is because he's just got that extra, tool in his tool shed.
Right.
I like Jan, but I mean he's getting older too. But yeah, that was pretty much it for the UFC 308. It was solid. Another loss for Rakic, my guy. He just keeps racking up losses. He was like 14-1, and now he's 14-5.
I bet on Rakic too.
He's so good, He really is good. It's just he's not better than Ankalaev and these top other guys. It's unfortunate.
He was a massive underdog in this one too, and I thought
he was.
I thought it was good money to take him. And then he decided to go for a takedown in the last 2 minutes of the fight when he should have been trying to do that earlier in the fight.
I think he's a heavyweight. Truly, he should be a heavyweight because he's lacking some of the skills you need at 185 and 205, which is like expert kickboxer. If you want to be in the top 10 in 185 and 205, you got to be an expert kickboxer. There's no way around it. That's just what it is. You don't need wrestling as much as you need this other stuff. And the standing is what it is because Piedra is the king. You want to beat Piedra, you got to beat him or at least compete. You know what I'm saying? So,
and now
or Adesanya or anybody else, it's all expert kickboxers. Same with, Robert Whittaker. But you got the random Chimaev, who's just this Khabib type boa constrictor out there.
And now it seems like we kind of know who's going to be the next title challenger.
Right.
I mean, that's the only fight that makes sense right now.
Yeah, it should be Chimaev. No ring rust either. He just goes out there and just works them.
No, I'm saying Ankalaev for Pereira.
Oh, yeah, and Ankalaev, yeah.
But also for Chimaev, I think he deserves that title shot over Strickland. I mean,
he doesn't want to fight him though. He doesn't want to fight Piedra.
Oh, Ankalaev?
Nope.
Ankalaev doesn't want to fight Pereira?
He don't want no smoke.
I think Pereira is gonna sleep him, but yeah, that's gonna be.
He's gonna fuck that dude up bad.
Yeah.
Like Ankalaev, or as
Pereira's gonna stalk him. It's gonna be scary.
Or as Chael calls him, Ankalaev.
Ankalaev just doesn't even say the whole name.
But he doesn't even. He says it like uncle, like this is like uncle. He says it like this. Here, I'll put it on the thing. Ankalaev.
Ankalaev.
That's the way he says it. Ankalaev. You don't even know what an Ankalaev is. The type of stuff Chael be talking about. But yeah, all the nicknames he got for these people, I think, is just so funny. My favorite all time will still be the Prohaska.
Proctor.
Yo, he called him every name in the book. Can we run that back? Can we get a Chael?
I forget what it wasn't Prohaska, but he was talking about somebody on he and Cormier's show. He might have been talking about Pereira.
What did he say?
He says something. He says Pereira's name funny. I don't know if it was Pereira. It was somebody though. It was just not even close. And then DC was making fun of him because of how he was pronouncing.
He has some of the best name switches. He really does. Like when he was calling I don't even remember the guy's name half the time. That's how good of a name switch this was.
Right.
Fury. What's the brother's name?
Tommy
Tommy.
Fury.
Bro, in my head, it's ingrained Will. That's how bad that Chael did this. He called him Will Flurry for
And
6
he
months.
says,
Will Flurry about Tommy Fury. And in my head, I can't get past I could switch the Flurry to Fury, but I can't switch Will to Tommy. So in my head, he's Will Fury.
but the thing
That's how bad Chael got me.
but he's just so convincing. I mean, he sounds so serious about it that it's just like, I don't know, just the way he says it just convinces you that that's actually the name.
It is. It's so true. It really is so true.
And he
But
doesn't
yeah, here,
work. He doesn't
you
laugh
guys are in for a treat. You guys are in for a treat right now.
because he doesn't smirk. He doesn't laugh. He's so
Fury.
serious doing this. It's crazy.
All right, let me play this through.
And the Yuri Prokaevs of the world. We
Prokaev.
don't know how good Prokaev is. And I'm familiar with Yuri because I'm good friends with King Mo. I remember seeing Prokaev back then, and to use Clayton's word, he's a problem. Ryan, help me out. Prokaev, Yuri or Jury? We're going to have to find that one out. 205 pounds. Prokaev? Is it Prokaev?
No, that was
I'm a guy who's 28 who believes he's young. Prokoski.
He's
Provider. You're not young.
He's Polish.
28 is not
right,
young.
He turned Polish out of nowhere. He went from Russian to Polish.
Provoski, who
Prokopsky
believes he's
to
young. Prokoski. Provider. You're not young. 28 is not young. You are old. If somebody needs to get a hold of Provoski here and tell him, you're not a young man. Better. It's not going to be long until people don't want John. They want Provokovich. It's not going to be long. I think Prokoska's a great idea. Prokoska is a great example. I wasn't overly interested in the guy. Maybe more than any light heavyweight out there. I want to see Prokoska. See just how good is he, just how far can he go. You also can't expect me as a guy who has a brain to not tease that. Of course I'm going to tease that.
So yeah, just know Chael does this to almost every fighter that's on the come up. He always gives a slightly off name, and it's just too funny. Like he calls Islam, he calls him Makhachev.
Yep. He always changes that.
He always says it wrong, like almost anybody, it's always wrong. And it's just too funny. Until you start winning, he'll give you a real name. He'll start calling you by your name eventually, but you got to prove yourself. And I think that's the funniest thing with Chael because he knows how to say your name.
Oh,
He's saying it wrong on purpose. And I think that's different than somebody being like ignorant to a player or a person's name. Like in the NBA, people are mispronouncing. I'm hearing even on broadcasts, Wembanyama. Have you heard that too? I complained about it last year. But like people aren't knowing how to pronounce Victor Wembanyama's name in the NBA, and it's not on purpose. That's the difference. Chael knows these guys. He's put in the work to know who they are. He purposely mocks their name to say like, you gotta start leveling up if you really want me to promote your name. You gotta really be a guy. You gotta make it worth it for me to promote you because I'm worth a lot of money, Chael. And his voice means something in the UFC space. He's one of the go-to guys. And if you want me to talk about you, you got to earn that. If not, if you're just in the news cycle, I'm going to throw you a nickname. Ilya Topuria, for example. He was Mr. Water Bottle, Mr. Hand Sanitizer for years up until now. Now he's Ilya Topuria. He says his name properly. But before, he was just a little meme. Because Patty Pimblett threw a water bottle or a hand sanitizer bottle. Nobody knows hand sanitizer, but he started off, it was a water bottle rumor, and it grew. but that's what it was. He was just a meme, and that's all Chael would refer to him as. No matter what wins he got, no matter who he was knocking out, he was still the meme up until now. Now he's the champ, and now he talks about him with respect. So it's just something funny that Chael does because he's a heel. No matter what, even when he was fighting, he was the heel. He was always supposed to get under people's skin, talk shit, and be that person. He wasn't supposed to be the guy you liked. Everyone's got to play a character. And if we've learned anything from Vince McMahon, as I always say, these are entertainment sports. And he set the bar for what you need to do. You need to have characters. You need to have heels. You need to have anti-heroes, things like that in the sport. It's very important. So it's a story. All this is a story being told. And Chael still plays his role in being a heel, but now he's a heel commentator, a heel analyst, and still understands the game and mentors some people. I think he mentors Bo Nickel. And I mean, there isn't a hotter name right now coming up to be the next champ other than Chimaev. Like, would you want to see that? Bo Nickel and Chimaev? I think those are the two best 185ers in the world.
Two great wrestlers.
I don't think anyone's better than them. I'll say that right now. They're both not champ right now, but nobody's better than either one of those two.
And they're both great wrestlers, too, so that'd be an interesting matchup.
It would be, because would it negate, and now they just got to stand and throw hands because they both don't want to wrestle with each other?
That's kind of what it was with Usman and Covington, and look at what that fight was.
Right, 5 rounds of smoke.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the best fights I've ever seen.
A broken jaw, one fight, they run it back. Like, it could get crazy, and we already seen with Gilbert Burns and Chimaev, they stood and threw. Yep. I love that. And that was with Chimaev dropping down to 170. So I think with him at 185, you let him be full of energy and life and not let him dehydrate another 15 pounds down. Oh, he'll throw and bang with Nickel all night.
I just hope he can make weight, because he waited until the last 12 minutes to finally make weight. So I don't know if it's
this time?
Yeah.
Interesting. He had a lot of time off though. You know, like there's ring rust, there's other things. So give Chimaev some grace. But still, yeah, that's not good that he waited 12 minutes left to finally make weight.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I think he should be next. No one wants to see Strickland and Duplessis next. No. Chimaev and Duplessis. Come on now.
Right. Chimaev and Duplessis. That's cool to me. Because Duplessis, he might stop those takedowns because Duplessis is strong.
Right.
He's like an ox. Like, you're not about to just go in there and bully him.
Because both of these guys haven't fought like Duplessis hasn't fought a guy like Chimaev, and I don't think Chimaev has fought a guy like Duplessis.
Right. Because Duplessis got a little bit of Marvin Vettori to him, where he's just got this dumb strength.
Yep.
Like, it just doesn't matter what you do. He's just strong.
Yeah, except he has punching power.
Right, because Marvin doesn't have any punching power.
He has no punching power whatsoever. It's crazy.
He stands too light. He tries to be bouncy, and it kind of like I was saying with Shara, where if you're too light on your feet bouncing around, that means you're not planting your feet and punching.
Right.
You're trying to stay too light and always worry about the counter. You're worrying about the setup. That one punch that's not your last move. That's the difference. Is like I was saying with these power punchers, you know, they sit and boom, they lay the bomb down and that's it. And that's what they throw. With Shara, when he throws a punch, it's not to knock you out. It's to set you up for the next kick or the next punch. It's a combo with him. That's why he's not knocking people out.
Right. Or he's setting you up for the spinning double back fist.
It's a jab, so you think the next jab's coming, but he hits you with the head kick. Now you get used to the jab head kick. Now it's a knee to the body. Like, that's what he's constantly making you play this guessing game. That's why it's not power shots.
Right.
But when you mess with Duplessis, I don't know what you could expect. Because he's just got a little bit of everything.
Right.
He stops takedowns. He even stops kickboxing somehow. He's not even that clean of a striker, but he's stopping people with elite kickboxing and beating them at their own game.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
But it's because he's not afraid to go in there and get hit first or get hit last. He goes in, he does his thing. You know, like, it doesn't matter what you're throwing at him or whatever, because he's throwing it at you. He's just one of those guys. He's going to walk through the punch, or he's going to land his 2, and you could get your 1, but he knows he got his 2 on you. So it's interesting. It is an interesting matchup. Next week, UFC Fight Night, we got Moreno versus Albazi, Namajunas, Derek Lewis, a couple OGs. Pedro Munoz is fighting. Alexander Romanov, the heavyweight. It'll
I
be
don't know.
decent. Not the best card.
I don't know why they're having Derek Lewis fight a guy who's not ranked.
Oh, Denise? Well, Denise is undefeated, and he's on the come-up.
But he's not ranked.
But he's about to be.
Derek Lewis is 11th.
I don't understand how you're missing this. This is how you get people ranked.
Yeah, but Derek Lewis is too high.
No, he's not. The thing is you set Derek Lewis up here, right? He's a golden goose. You could always put Derek Lewis and get money. Fans will always pay and always come to see Derek Lewis. We love Derek Lewis. You ever just felt like your balls was hot? He understands, and the people understand, so we respect him. So Derek Lewis, watch this. Denise fights. He loses to Denise. Derek Lewis has to go down in rankings, but he doesn't have to fall off the top 15. So he's still a top 15 fighter and still worthy of being on main cards, still worthy of getting your money and demanding your attention. Even if he loses to an undefeated guy on the come up. What could you say? You can't say he lost to a bum. Guy's undefeated. How good is he? We don't know how good he is yet, so we're not going to drop Lewis off the top 15.
They're just trying to use him as a stepping stone.
They use him as a stepping stone while still keeping Derek Lewis relevant and still keeping him in the top 15 and still keeping him marketable. He's still a top 15 fighter, so he's still worthy of a main card and people to spend money on. So that's what it is. I think it's a great stepping stone and also gives Derek Lewis an opportunity to maybe get a dub and maybe find himself in a potential contenders matchup, not for the belt, but I mean, he would be 2 away. If you beat Denise and then you fight
because I'm looking
somebody in the Volkov, maybe you beat Volkov in the next fight, let's say, because Cyril Gane and him had their fight canceled. Let's say he beats Denise real quick, mops him up in 30 seconds, gets lucky with his power punch, boom, sleeps him, fights Volkov in like a month and a half in December. And how can you say, oh, Derek Lewis just picked up 2 dubs? He beat undefeated Denise. He beat an old vet in Volkov who was on a comeback on a big win streak too. You know, now Derek Lewis is in the picture again. So I think there is a path for Derek Lewis to kind of be on that way, but I think he's on his way out. And what I think this is a stepping stone match, and Derek Lewis is most likely going to lose his next 2 fights. He's going to lose to Denise, and then he's going to lose to the next guy who he fights. And that's probably the story of Derek Lewis.
And it's crazy because everybody in the rankings right now, he's pretty much fought.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, they got to bring in some fresh blood somehow, and nobody cares if Derek Lewis wins or loses. He's one of those guys now. It's just, as long as he's on the card, people are happy. People want to see Derek Lewis fight. They want to know the story.
And out of the 15, he's fought Cyril Gane, Volkov, Pavlovich, Blades, Almeida, Spivak,
Rosenstruik.
Has he fought Rosenstruik?
Actually, no, he hasn't. That might be one of the only people he hasn't fought.
Tybura, so that's 7. Tuivasa, that's 8.
Mm-hmm.
De Lima, that's 9. And Nascimento, he just knocked out in his last fight. So he's fought 10 fighters that are ranked in the top 15.
Right.
Crazy.
So I'm saying you need some fresh blood with Lewis because how old is Derek Lewis? 39.
God damn.
He turns 40 in February. He's 3 months away from 40. We just seen what happened to Dos Anjos.
I forgot he was that old. Jeez.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, he's on his way out. Denise is on his way up. He's 8-0, undefeated. I think it's a good matchup.
Well, I'm rooting for Lewis though. I'm rooting for Lewis regardless.
All right. You know, I think it's gonna be an interesting fight, but
winning. You think?
I mean, if you've seen him beat up Austin Lane, and then we've seen him beat up Carl Williams, I like Denise.
All right.
I don't think he's like this lucky guy who's 8-0. I think he's one of these guys like Cain Velasquez who can't get fights because no one wants to fight him.
What about Blanchfield and Namajunas?
I'm gonna take Rose because I love Rose. Yeah, I don't even think there's any more analysis than that. I just like Rose as a complete fighter, and I don't think Blanchfield is as well-rounded as her.
I think Rose is definitely the better striker on the feet.
Yeah.
And I like Albazi against Moreno.
Oh yeah, definitely. Albazi's gonna get this dub.
Because then he'll be next in line for a title shot then.
What you got to realize about Moreno is he's a guy who's actually like a mid-tier talent that kept winning and just had great matchups his entire career. He's not supposed to be one of the best fighters in the UFC. He never was supposed to be that. He was cut from the UFC before. He's been back and forth. He's just one of these guys that just is kind of overperforming. He's like a Sean Strickland. I was gonna say Ron. I don't know why I said that. Ron Strickland. Sean Strickland. Like he shouldn't really be where he's at, but he is because he's that good. If that makes sense. Like
he works that hard.
He works that hard, and he just hones in on his craft. But he was never supposed to be the best guy. He was never supposed to be champ ever. But he did it. He found a good matchup, and it just worked. You know what I'm saying? Like him against Figueiredo, he was never supposed to beat Figgy. But the only thing that could stop Figgy was a technical boxer that didn't get too ego-driven, and that's what it was.
And the weight cut.
Oh yeah, and the weight cut.
The weight cut definitely part in those
Yeah,
fights.
Figgy also emotionally was over the division. He didn't want to drop to 125 anymore. He was over it 3 fights before he fought Moreno. But he wanted to keep winning money and keep doing his job. Now he's up to 135 and he's killing it. I think he's about to fight Peter Yan. Right?
Is he in line to fight Piotr?
I think he's fighting Piotr Yan.
I know there was rumors about it.
Yeah, Yan Figueiredo, November 23rd.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. That's a really good fight.
Yep. So,
fight.
I don't know. I think 135 is better for Figgy overall, but what was I saying? But yeah, Figgy for 125. He didn't want to make that weight anymore. At all. And he was complaining about it prior to even fighting Moreno. He didn't even want to fight Moreno in the first place.
He fought him 4 times.
He didn't want to do the first fight. I remember the narrative. He didn't want to fight the guy. He's like, bro, I'm going to kill this guy. And then it turned out to be a 5-round banger, and he didn't finish him. And everyone's like, why didn't you finish this guy? You said he was a scrub. And he's like, bring him in there again. I'll take him out. And then he lost.
Yeah.
And then it turned into this, the trilogy. And then, that one, we need a 4th. You know? It just turned into that. And it was just this matchup. And Figueiredo didn't even want to be in the division anymore. They held it up for 2.5, 3 years, just putting Moreno up there. And a great matchup for him against the guy who didn't want it. And this was a guy who was hungrier than ever and wanted it more than anybody. So it was just that type of situation. But I don't think that happens again. I don't think Moreno is going to get this dub. I root for the guy. He's a good dude. You know, he's like a good person. He's kind of nerdy, collects Funko Pops and comic books and
Legos,
Pokemon cards and Legos. Like, he's a cool collector. Like, he's a cool person. But what I'm saying is there's some people who have these elite 0.1% of elite athleticism. The next levels. The Wei Li, for example. There's not many women on earth like Wei Li. That woman's made in a lab. Brock Lesnar, LeBron James, Davidson Figueiredo. Some of these people are just elite of the elite athleticism. Like Allen Iverson in the NBA. The NBA has 450 people. They're more athletic, most likely, than the average person on earth. They're a better athlete, right? Much better. Then, if you just do a consensus of the top 450 athletes in the NBA, you take them, and now you compare them to each other. That's the elite of the elite. That's what I'm saying. Like, comparatively to the best of the best, you're still elite. And there's just certain people who are like that. Like, no matter what, Giannis, elite of elite athlete. Same, like I was saying, Allen Iverson, elite of elite athleticism. 6 foot, 165 pounds. So I got him right here next to me. Iverson, like elite athleticism that you couldn't argue with. There's just nobody like him. If you've seen the way certain things, certain people move a certain way. Piera, built different. Absolutely built different. Nobody could punch like him. No one's ever seen the punching power of him. Just is what it is. Some people are just built different. That's where the phrase came from. I'm built
Right.
different. I'm different. I'm not average. You know what I'm saying? Like I have some quality that is elite, that is outstanding. And Allen Iverson, also his flexibility was elite. It's something that people don't talk about. You know how low AI could get to the ground, not only being a small guard, there were small guards guarding him too. It wasn't like that. It was about his quickness and how low he could get. Change of direction. He could get wicked low on one side and wicked low on the other, so the ball's coming from over here to over here faster than the normal. And also his shin. If you look at the way his shin flexion, look in the shin flexion. You want to ever find out about elite athleticism and like the physiology of an elite athlete? Look in the shin flexion.
It's all
You
on
can
the
see it. Look into it with Shaden Sharp. Look at Shaden Sharp, how low he could get and how he could bend, how low he could get his foot and his quad to be parallel with the ground.
He's an athlete.
He's an athlete.
He's certainly an athlete. It's all in the shins.
It's all in the shin flexion, the dorsiflexion.
Mm.
Y'all think I'm crazy, but I'm serious. What else do we got? Did you see any crazy games?
Been a lot of blowouts this year already. That Celtics one, I mean, they almost blew it. What happened last night? LeBron went crazy in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Clippers game was actually pretty good. Norman Powell went off in the fourth
We
quarter.
already had 37.
Yeah, and he had 22 in the fourth.
It's pretty good.
He had like 4 or 5 threes in the fourth. Yeah, nothing too crazy. But today we got Nets and Bucks.
I know. I'm super hyped for this. My two favorite players facing off. Giannis versus Cam Thomas.
Nets get smoked.
Yeah. They're most likely going to get smoked. They should get smoked.
Yeah. Look at Cam Thomas's teammates.
I mean, you got Cam Johnson. Whatever.
That's what I mean. It took you that long, player.
You got Cam Johnson. No, I like Nick Claxton is great.
Yeah,
He's coming off the bench this year. They're starting Ben Simmons.
Yeah, that work out well.
So let me show you something what I was talking about. This is some stuff that I was trying to explain. But look at AI. Look at the way his body is right now. Do you see how his shin is parallel with the ground?
Yeah, I can't do that.
Try to do that without falling. As funny as this sounds, this is the reason why Allen Iverson is different than everyone else. Is this alone? Is how flexible he is and how flexible his ankles, his Achilles, everything. Everything has to be in tune. Do you see how this guy right here is pushing off? Do you see how his shin isn't as low as him? But he's trying to race him down the court and he's beating him. He's already ahead.
Looks like he's going to face plant.
It looks like he's going to fall on his face, right?
Yeah.
Like there is no way how all of your body is going this way and you're going to catch yourself.
Yeah, that shin flexion.
It's the shin flexion. You look at certain athletes, and I'm telling you, they have an extra level quality that the other athletes don't have. And it's something like this. If I could find, I might have did some posts about Shaden Sharp. This is a post from like 2019. So this is like 5-6 years ago that I was posting about this. I think I have one of Shaden as well. Let me see. I'll find it, but Some other good games that went on, other than Norman Powell, can we please talk about Cam Thomas opening night? Because everyone was talking about, oh my God, Anthony Davis, blah, 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 35 points in back-to-back season openers. Only Jerry West and Elgin Baylor has done that. Cam Thomas did it the night before.
Right.
36, 2 seasons in a row. One off the bench, one starting.
It's been a tale of two halves for him, though. For some reason, he hasn't shown up in the
halves have
first
been
half.
really bad. And the shot attempts are really bad, too. Like, I don't know. It's rough.
And then in the second half, when they're down by a lot, he starts to get it going. And he almost brought him back into that Hawks game, too.
He did. We were down 2. Right at the end, he hits 2 back-to-back threes.
Yep. And then he tried to hit that 3 the other night against the Magic.
Oh, yeah.
Late in that fourth quarter, and he missed it.
But they were already out of it.
But that shot would have made it close, though. Would have
potentially. I don't doubt it.
But I mean, he got it going a bit in the second half in both of those games.
Right, and then Onyeka Okongwu also killed it.
Yeah, career high. I don't think he missed the shot, or he missed the one.
Mm-hmm. I think he had, 28?
Yeah. He's got all those points in the paint. Just about all those points in the paint.
It's pretty solid stuff. I'm trying to find the Shaden post so I could show y'all what I was talking about with Shaden Sharp. But there's a reason why you see Shaden Sharp have like a 50-inch vert, is because of this type of ankle flexion. And it's all the guys with the craziest bounce. I mean, if you think about it, Allen Iverson dunked on Yao Ming. You could tell an elite athlete from that alone. It was just a shin flexion. I don't even got to see you play basketball. I just know you have a certain quality about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people who could do a muscle up. If you do a muscle up, I know you have a super strong core, super strong back. And you also you have a good chain of motion. Is your whole body, everything can work in unison together to do that. That shows a specific thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you could be good at basketball doing that, but if I see you're good at basketball, you could do that also. You have an extra quality that some basketball players don't have. You have an extra level of strength that could potentially be used on the court in a different way than a normal basketball player would. And as we've seen from the AI thing, you got people running down the court and they're just half stepping compared to AI, to where this guy is so low to the ground and he's just zooming by you and boom. And in football, which AI is also a football player, lower man wins. He knows that. That's also something that he values and understands at a very high level. Whoever has the lower pad level when you hit most likely wins, unless you're too low and you just fall backwards.
Strong.
You could be too low and lose your range of motion, obviously, and you're just squatted out if your ass is to the grass. But you have to be in an athletic position and also the lower man, and 90% of the time you win in football. So, like, I knew that from AI too. Like, this guy understands everything: body control, body contact, everything that he has to do to get into a shot blocker's body and then still go around. So,
strong legs.
Yeah, you got to have really strong legs. It makes sense. I mean, at least it makes sense to me.
Right.
I played a bunch of sports and I've seen a bunch of things how it could be applied differently. But anyway, like swimming. Swimming is the ultimate cardio sport. I remember the best time of my life, I was in shape, was when I was playing football, basketball, and then I went to swimming. I had swimming before basketball season, and I wasn't on the swim team for a long time. Joined the swim team, and then I go to basketball tryouts, and I'm outrunning everybody at suicides, and it was like a joke. And I remember suicides used to be competitive for me. Like, it was something that I would try to finish first, and I never really would be able to finish first, but I'd be in like the top 5 out of the tryouts or the team in practice. And then I came off a swimming season, had a great swimming season, came back, my cardio was on another fucking level. And I was someone who was always doing sports no matter what. But instead of, like a different sport, I did swimming one year, came back, and I'm like, what the fuck? My lungs are crazy. So I know if somebody's practicing, like if they're swimming in the off season, like Jaylen Brown is, this is why the weave, you got to trust the weave.
The weave.
Jaylen Brown, look what Jaylen Brown's doing this year, averaging the most rebounds he ever has. Though it's early in the season and everything, He's getting to the line at a higher clip, and he's out rebounding people, which means he's able to outwork someone now. And that's probably because of swimming. All year he did pool workouts and everything else. We know he could hoop. We know he could dribble. We know he could shoot. We know he knows concepts and how to run plays.
We don't know if he could dribble.
One hand, right-handed.
We don't know if he could dribble. Chill out.
He dribbles with his right hand. But like, we know all these things about him. We know he's a champion now. Now he took his cardio to the next level.
Right.
That's how I know the league better be afraid of Jaylen Brown, because I know what happens when people's lungs get right from doing swimming workouts. And you have a whole off season of doing 2 to 3 months of just pure working out in a pool, your lungs go to another level. And his endurance, cardio, everything, his mind, like everything works better. When you're tired, you look for ways out. That's what also Chael always says. The first thing that you'll lose in a fight, the way you'll lose, is with your mind. The second you get tired, you think of ways to defend yourself. You don't think about the aggressive part of your game anymore. You don't think about going after somebody. You think about surviving. You think about holding on. And if you never get tired, you never try to hold on. You know, you don't play safe. You don't play prevent. We all know from football to anything, if you're up but you're tired or you're scared to lose, you start playing prevent. You start playing soft. You just start allowing some things that you normally wouldn't allow. You start allowing. And that's how you get caught in the UFC. That's how you start losing and give up runs in the NBA, is when you let up on the gas. Because you're like, I got this. I could just manage. I'll coast. I don't want to burn out. And then I actually do end up losing in the end. I don't want to burn out. Jaylen Brown doesn't have a fear of burning out anymore. It's pedal to the metal. And if you keep up, you could keep up. But I don't know. I just think he's on another level this year. So if people think the Celtics are going to be trash just because Porzingis is out, they got another thing coming.
Right.
They got a pissed off Jaylen Brown who didn't make the Olympics, and they got him working like crazy. And he trained in the water, and they said that they studied killer whales to do their offense. And Jaylen Brown was in the water. He is the killer whale. He's the orca.
Yeah, Joe Mazzulla is a scary man.
He is. He's a scary man. Scary philosophies, but when you apply them the right way,
it's working so far.
Could be deadly, man. Orcas are literally the killers of the world. They're the number one apex predator other than humans, I guess, because we could kill orcas pretty effectively. Nobody else can. We could kill them from 100 feet away. Technically, I mean, but I'm saying, like, an orca is truly an apex predator. There isn't no other animal that has an advantage over an orca.
Right.
Where are you going to fight an orca?
I don't know.
Like, who could fight an orca straight up, right? So I get what Mazzulla's saying. And orcas are the most intelligent mammals other than us, and maybe elephants. But elephants aren't carnivores. They're herbivores. So you have the most intelligent mammal. Look at this, turned into a history lesson. But you got to understand the weave.
Got to understand.
It's a 3-man weave with 2 people. You got to understand we're diamond, the metaphysical versions of ourselves.
It always comes back to the weave.
It always comes back to the weave. And I mean, didn't any of y'all childhood coaches teach you a weave? Y'all didn't run the weave? Y'all were traveling? Y'all were holding the rock longer than 2 steps on the weave?
The weave was fun.
The weave was the best part about practice. I swear it was. Everything else was difficult.
Right.
The funniest parts were the kids who didn't know how to do the weave. I'm like,
yeah, they would get confused.
Are we serious? We're running laps because you can't do the weave?
Yeah,
we really just had to do 3 suicides because you don't know how to pass the rock to the next person ahead of you?
Right.
My God. It's so funny when they praise Kevin Love and Lonzo Ball. These guys know how to throw a hit-ahead pass. Everybody should know how to throw a hit-ahead pass. You catch the rebound, you look up court. But not a lot of people catch the ball and look up court. They look at their feet. They look at the ball when they dribble. It's a foreign concept to most people. So, you know, I guess it could get complimented when people do it, but it's something that I don't even think is worthy of compliments because I think it should be a given.
Right.
I shouldn't be like, I hate to come at Jaylen Brown here. We were just talking about his handles. But, Jaylen Brown's got a left hand this year. He should have had a left hand in high school. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. I just see it that way. But all right, what else do we got? We got the matchups tonight. We got Bucks Nets. I could talk about that forever. I just don't want to because we can talk about something else. Who else is matching up tonight? That's interesting. To me, I think an interesting matchup could be the early game on the slate. It could be the 76ers versus Pacers.
That game sucks.
You think so?
Yeah. That game. I don't even know. Both those teams look terrible to start the season.
That makes sense.
So it could be a good game, I guess, since they both suck. Could be close.
I think the Pacers take this one.
Yeah, I'll take the Pacers on that one.
I like their bench scoring. I like what Benedict Matherin's doing. Really, I'm not a big fan of Miles Turner. Like, I don't know, it was something with the preseason too, and I seen Zach Edey chewing him, and I'm like, man, like Miles Turner, year after year, he's looking less and less like a defender, like a rim protector, and I just don't like that. He's just more and more of a model, and that's all he's really doing. He just wants to come dress up and wear some funky clothes, and maybe hit a three here or there.
Pelicans should smoke the Trailblazers.
Yeah, they should. Oh, but Miles Turner does collect Top Shot. So that is the one thing. And he tweeted about Top Shot this week. Benedict Matherin hit a three, and then like the NBA tweeted something out, and then he quote tweeted it and he tagged Benedict Matherin and he said, "Yo, this should be an NBA Top Shot," and got like 1,000 likes. I was like, okay, I see you marketing, trying to get the good people on the Top Shot. So shout out to Miles Turner for that. Give you a big shout out for shouting out Top Shot.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to end up getting shifted to like a different team. I think they need a better big. You need somebody else next to Siakam. Who could it be? I don't know. I know the Pacers gave an offer sheet to DeAndre Ayton back in the day when he was on the Suns.
Yep.
And then they matched. The Suns matched, and then they traded him away. But the Pacers didn't get him. So one thing I do know is the Pacers wanted to move on from Miles Turner 2 years ago. 2+ years ago. Also, they really liked Ayton. So, what could happen there? Can they make a trade for Ayton, send Miles Turner somewhere in like a 3-team trade that needs a big? You send him to New Orleans. You send Ayton to the Pacers, and then Portland can start Klingon and start. It's your first round pick. He's a lottery pick. You want to play Klingon. You start him out. You actually get him some real reps. Could potentially win Rookie of the Year if a spot opens for him where he's starting. And then also you got Robert Williams on the bench. Kind of healthy, kind of not. So I think that is a potential. Another team I know that wants to dump a big is the Cavs because Jared Allen signed his new contract, but he could be traded one day before the trade deadline. They made sure they did it the day before he could get traded. So I think something's going to happen at the deadline. I definitely believe there's going to be a move with the Cavs. And I think he could trade, they could possibly trade him for a wing. So you could send him to the Pelicans because the Pelicans still need a big. So they get Jared Allen. And then you send back Brandon Ingram because the Cavs need a wing and the Pelicans need a big. I think that's a pretty fair swap. You could also maybe send him to, maybe they want Jimmy Butler and you do some sort of big move to get Jared Allen or maybe even Mobley. Maybe you like Jared Allen and you trade Mobley as a young piece and you get some other stuff with it. You get Jimmy Butler, maybe a couple picks or whatever else. How much value Evan Mobley still has. I think he's got a lot of value personally. I think there's going to be a lot of moves this year though. Because this offseason, some things shifted up and I think the Kings are going to be really good. You got DeRozan. They're going to figure it out. Him and DeRozan, or Sabonis and DeRozan.
They got to get some
Fox. I know. They got to get some defense in there. So who knows who that's going to be. But they got Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis locks up. I think Keegan Murray's all right. He plays. I don't think he's like a detriment on defense personally. But they probably do need some sort of rim protector coming off the bench.
All right.
Something. Let me see. Kings roster. Who could they possibly have? Herter's been a little off and hurt, but I think he's back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Scal Labissiere, Labissiere. They got Alex Len. It's really not looking good. I mean, they got Orlando Robinson, who was like decent for the Heat, but that's the Heat. They got Trey Lyles. And then their rookie, Devin Carter, he's going to be out until next year. So, yeah, like they don't really have that defensive punch, but I like what they do on offense. I think they could really come up with some fun things. And who else is for tonight? Clippers, Warriors. Nobody cares about Clippers, Warriors. Hawks, OKC. That doesn't really matter. You got OKC at the top of the West, and Atlanta might be playing for a play-in seed potentially on the East. So that game's irrelevant. I think Milwaukee, Brooklyn could be interesting. I think this is a team Giannis could potentially end up on. I don't know if Giannis is going to be on the Bucks forever.
Yeah, he's been saying some weird things lately too.
Very weird things. So from what I see happening, I think Giannis is going to end up either in a California team, somewhere like the Lakers, Clippers, Warriors. I don't think he would ever end up on the Kings. But I think it could potentially be the Warriors, Lakers, Clippers, or other side, I think he goes big market no matter what. And I think he would go to Miami or he would go to somewhere in New York. So, like I said, he's either going to the Heat in the East or he's going Brooklyn Nets or New York Knicks. I don't think it's Knicks anymore because they have Cat. I mean, Cat and Giannis would be kind of cool together. I actually think they would complement each other well.
Enough money right now.
Right? But there's a lot of money on the books.
Yeah.
They would have to trade like Mikal Bridges for Giannis.
Right.
The picks. Like I don't know how you would make it happen. So what I'm saying is if it's not the Knicks, I think Giannis either, like I said, comes to 5 teams. And most likely the Nets are one of the 5 because it's still in New York and he could go there. So let's see what happens. And if anything, I mean, you got Damian Lillard. I always wanted him around a volume 3-pointing scoring guard, right? I used to say, I want Kemba. Get Kemba to the Bucks. Get Dame to the Bucks. They need somebody like this. It's a little late in the Dame's career now to finally get Giannis, Dame. You know?
Waited a few years too long.
I was saying that back before we even got Drew Holiday. You know? Like, I was like, yo, the Bucks need to get somebody, a volume 3-point shooting guard. Drew Holiday was perfect, and they ended up winning the title and everything. They got a more defensive guard than anything, but I loved it. But I wanted a volume shooting guy and like a Kemba, but he got bad knees. We found out he had bad knees. Then Dame Lillard comes a little late, and then his wife divorces him the year he's coming to the Bucks. So I guess he's not working out in the offseason. I hate to drag a man's personal life into it, but this is Doc Rivers said it. Doc Rivers said he's going through a divorce. He moved halfway across the country. He was upset. He also didn't want to get hurt, so he didn't train in the offseason, so he could get traded and end up in a different city. So it's kind of a weird situation, and I think Dame will bounce back this year and hopefully deliver what Giannis really wanted was a volume scoring guard that takes the pressure off Giannis and opens the floor, spaces it out so he could just get open runs to the rim. And that's what's probably going to happen. But if you think about the way Giannis wants to, age into the league, it's not having Dame next to him. Dame's 35 already. He's a 35-year-old point guard. Let's be real. 35. He's old. Who is a young guard that you could go around? In Brooklyn, you got Cam Thomas, a volume scoring guard who will take the load off you. So, I don't know. I think Brooklyn could be a great spot for Giannis to potentially go to. They have the cap space next year for a big fish to come in there. Also, they got a lot of draft picks. So they could either draft Cooper Flagg or whoever else, Ace Bailey or Dylan Harper or, what's his name? Traore. He's the point guard from France, but I have a feeling he's just going to be the next Killian Hayes. I think his name is Logan Traore. I could be wrong about his first name. I really forget his first name, but I know his last name is Traore. He's pretty solid. I've watched some of his games. So who knows? Who knows what the Nets could do? But I do think they're going to make a big move in free agency, potentially even trade in. We've heard rumors for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Why would they trade for Jimmy Butler? I don't know. Why would the Heat do it? Why would the Nets do it? All of it's kind of weird to me. So we'll see what happens there. But I definitely think this Brooklyn and Milwaukee game is going to be cool. And also was my favorite moment last year by Cam Thomas. Do you remember the moment?
What moment?
So during the draft process, let me hit the weave real quick. During the draft process of 2021, you know how they do interviews with college players?
Yeah.
A team was interviewing Cam Thomas, and they said, best case scenario, who do you predict your player comp is? He said Damian Lillard, and they laughed at him.
Yeah, I remember that.
They laughed at him. That was a report, I believe, by Ryan Russillo or Brian Windhurst, but I believe it was Ryan Russillo who said it. And they laughed at him. They didn't say what team, but they let enough of their source go that they said a team brought him in, and he said he believes he could be like a Damian Lillard type. And they laughed at him. So Cam Thomas goes against the Milwaukee Bucks. And here you go. Let me stream the moment. And what's Damian Lillard's nickname?
Dame time.
Well, Dame time or LL. What's the first L for?
I don't know.
Logo Lillard, right?
Logo Lillard, yeah.
Logo Lillard is his nickname, but Dame time is his catchphrase.
Mm-hmm.
So his nickname is Logo Lillard. Well, last year, Cam Thomas dropped 45 on Damian Lillard, who they laughed at. They mocked him, and literally he slid down draft boards. Cam Thomas was supposed to be a lottery pick. He went 27th to the Brooklyn Nets. So let's lock in. 45 points. Logo Lillard. Pulls up from the logo on Logo Lillard. And then just stands there after. Pulls up from the logo on him. In the Kobe's. Black History Month Kobe's. Knocks the three down. And he just stands there, looks at the bench. I love that.
That's tough.
That's tough, right? So, I mean, that was last year. He dropped 45. That was big time. So that's why I'm so hyped for today. Brooklyn Nets versus the Milwaukee Bucks. And I think Giannis is like looking around going, could we trade Damian Lillard to the Bucks? Could we get Cam Thomas back and get some pieces? Get some more shooters? Because they need shooters and defenders. And they need someone young if they want to keep Giannis around in Brooklyn. There's no way Giannis is going to stay for the next 4 years and have a 39-year-old point guard in Dame Lillard. Nobody wants a 39-year-old point guard. That's 6'2". So something's got to give. And I think it's Cam Thomas and Giannis, the collab that we all need.
We'll see.
If Giannis and Cam Thomas are on the same team, I will become unbearable.
Oh, yeah.
We will rename the show the Giannis and Cam Thomas Show. We will make every episode dedicated to them in the assists and everything else that comes with it and all the championships they win.
No, you'll be by yourself then.
I'll be by myself screaming into the void.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have anything else from UFC? Anything you're looking forward to? Because we did a lot of we did a lot of NBA, and I guess we did a lot of UFC.
Yeah, we did a lot of UFC.
We hit everything. We played the hits today.
We did. Nothing but the hits.
Nothing but the hits. Speaking of hits, let's talk about this. How about this one? Carlos Paredes, Neil Magny will end on this. What happens in that fight?
Oh, Paredes sleeps him.
Paredes sleeps him. And on that note, guys, we're going to rest and go to sleep ourselves. Just as Neil Magny will. The three of us. But yeah, so thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate it. It's really appreciated that you guys keep tuning in and everything else. Much love. Tune in next week, Sunday. We appreciate being your first listen of the day. Always. Sunday mornings, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in next week. We out of here, y'all.
Adios.
Thank you, Hawk, for commenting. Peace.
Shout out.
Shout out, Hawk.